Got any notifications?
Do you put them in the bowl?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's on both channels, right?
yeah, yeah.
So,
There you
you're on? Okay, okay, okay. Hey, Shalom, Shalom.
Shalom.
When the self source by giving no praise to Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Bashem,
Shem Yahweh,
Yahushai,
Shem
Bashem,
Shem Kakabah.
Kakadash. Right, double honor to the apostle of Great Millstone, right? And honor to your brothers in the work of the Most Son Truth and in sincerity, right? Where the Hebrew Israelites come out week in, week out to prophesy the downfall of this man's wicked ass kingdom, right? Nothing in this world is real, man. Like there's that whole thing that's been happening over the last week, right? And there's question marks about whether that even happens for real, right? There's just so much witchcraft and wizardry that Esau perpetuates and pushes in the world that you genuinely can't even believe your eyes anymore, right? If you look at there was that new software that they released last maybe back in the last year or the beginning of this year called Sora, Sora, right? And when you look at that, that's just basically generative AI where you give it a few lines of text and it will basically generate photorealistic videos, man. Right? So if that's in a commercial space, imagine what this man's working with in the background, man. So we was kind of getting into something. We're going, start off there and see where the spirit leads, because this world truly is just a wicked ass world, man. Right? The people's minds are completely messed up. In fact, I'll get this one as well. Right? The people's minds are all messed up. Right? The things that are good, people look at as wicked. Right? And vice versa. Right? So if we start off with that, I'll load this one as well.
Oh,
Unless you looks like you got a precept.
right. Awesome. This is the book of Second Ezra, 15 and 6. For wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth.
Right? So wickedness has exceedingly polluted the whole earth, man. Right? That's why you got man. It was spirit, because I was on my walk this morning. I was listening to the elders and apostle in in Dallas, right? And then just after I saw Jake, man, imagine it's like a Bronx Jake, like you could tell he works out, but he was coming out the house with another Edomite man. Right. The thing is, it weren't no just business partner. You could tell that them two freaks were getting down, man. Right. And that's what our people have started doing. They started indulging in the wickedness that happens in this world, man. Okay.
Yes.
Right. So that's what we're seeing right now, man. You're just seeing just great wickedness amongst our people. But right after that, the apostle then starts speaking about that he had a similar situation. Right. And it's a Jake, right? That'll be living that kind of lifestyle. Right. But once again, if I can grab this real quick, right? This is Isaiah 5 and 20. It says, woe unto them that call evil good and good evil. Right. That put darkness for light and light for darkness, that put bitter for sweet and sweet for bitter. Right. So these scriptures are good. The laws of Yahweh Shem Yahshai are good, right? But this Edomite has done what? He's basically switched the understanding of the people, where people look at, and they, once again, the elders and the apostle were going into that, right? People in this world look at these scriptures as if they're the bad thing, right? You've been programmed from a young age to look at these scriptures as being negative, huh? Right? But these times, these scriptures are light, right? The ways of this world are death, right?
Uh, but the Bible says, man, he that walketh
No,
out of the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead.
that's it.
You know?
Of course. Most Proverbs 21:16.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what this society is, man. That's what
Yeah.
this society is pushing. The way of death, rebelliousness, proud spirit,
Mm-hmm.
all these are the way of death, man.
That's it.
You know?
That's it. And this is the thing. People don't seem to realize how insidious that this man is. They kind of make it seem like, oh, I was with a friend, I think we was talking about it last week, right? Where, you may tell someone, oh, that causes, which I don't even want to say it on camera because you know how he does, right? But that causes the big sickness, right? The big C, right? If you do this. And I was like, okay, cool. But then you then go, but that also causes it, and that also causes it. And then what will people say to you? Oh, you think everything causes that? Yes, because the wicked are in rulership. Okay, that's why you don't eat real food. right? Everything that you touch has some kind of forever chemicals in it. Once again, the brother, I was with reasoning with the brother a couple of weeks ago, and he was basically telling me how when you've got like children's clothes, they'll be sprayed with a certain a fire retardant chemical, right? But that chemicals is an obesogen, right? Which basically makes it such that you're more likely to get obesity when you get older, right? This man's the devil. And let's not talk about BPA, right? Here it is. You be like, yeah, man, I'm trying to be healthy, trying to hydrate, gonna stay away from the, from the poisons and stuff like that. I'm just gonna drink water, but the water's coming in a plastic container that is basically a messes with your hormones, man. Okay, that's it.
Yeah, that's why people are distressed. You know, people become
Let me
hateful.
grab that.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah.
people are walking hungry. I mean, they become hungry. You know, all this because of the environment that people are in, man.
Mm-hmm.
It's all defiled. You know, from the water you drink, from the food you eat, to the air you breathe, man.
Yeah, and then all the media and information that you consume,
Yeah.
right? That completely messes with your mind. Right, that's why, for instance, man, and Lords will do a video on this. These bloody algorithms.
Yeah.
Like, have you noticed? I don't know if you've noticed. Here it is. You be on your channel, and then you just be watching apostles or whatever on your YouTube, right? But then you watch like one video on some bloody let's say it's like one fresh and fit video, right? As an example, you just watch one clip. Now your entire feed becomes fresh and fit related content. Ah, this woman did this. Ah, that man, and it's like, bro, like I literally just watched one video.
Yeah.
Right, but that's what the algorithms do. Like even on my YouTube, I'm not on my phone. What do you call it? I've got like my work stuff on my phone, so I normally don't like watch. I watch it on my laptop or something like that. If I'm watching like Apostles or something like that, right? But like I'll just be on my phone, and it'll be like the whatever podcast or whatever, and that's on the home screen on my phone. I'm like, I'll watch that, right? But why is that? It's to basically keep people in that constant state of delusion, right? Because the world is bigger than some nasty assholes, man, right?
Yeah.
And that's
Yeah. As you say, man, good is esteemed as evil, as you
Yep.
read before, and the evil as good, man.
Yeah.
That's what the society is pushing, man.
yeah,
They want to put you, in your sleep, man.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah. Oh, in
So,
fact, let me grab that for you.
So they want you to continue to be in the la 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 land.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Be amused with of this word,
That's it.
which are the way of death,
Yeah,
man.
folly, it's it. Right? This is Habakkuk 2:15. Woe unto him that giveth his neighbor drink. Now that drink is talking about philosophies, right? That's talking about philosophies. Right, that's talking about philosophies, and that's all that this man is doing. He's pushing philosophies upon the people, right? So that they just bugged out all the damn time, man. Right? Goes on to say, says that puttest thy bottle to him and makes him drunken also, that thou mayest look on his nakedness, right? But that's the thing, man. So you got all of these different things that he's pushing out, and his and his media and stuff like that. That's why people are just constantly thinking about shit that don't matter, right? Whenever there's Love Island on, people just talking about that, and it's just like, but there's so much bigger happening in the world.
Distractions are.
Distractions. That's it, right? Psyops, right? And their multitudes.
Yeah. Psyops and distractions.
Theatricality.
Yeah, but all that dating stuff ruins people's mind frames when it comes to male-female interactions. That's why it's the whole man-woman thing is messed up. A lot of it goes back to these social experiment. Even this pop the balloon thing, it's a psyop.
Yeah.
It's a psyop, man. Like, and then they ran with it, and then next man pick it up because it gets views, and they're running with it. I guarantee you, the person that came up with that was some CIA or operative or whatever. Yeah, we're gonna run this thing, and then it's men versus women, pop the balloon.
Yeah, because when it first
And the
started
algorithm-
doing it was just niggas doing it. Now you got in all these red pill, all these other groups doing. It's like it's a
And the
setup.
algorithm pushing it heavy. Anything the algorithm's pushing, you already know, like, yeah, they want people to see this. And what effect does it have? People squabbling,
Yeah.
man versus woman.
I was saying, I don't know if, but I was just saying just now, I don't know if you've experienced this where you watch one random video and then now that YouTube's only ever giving you that, you know?
Well, like the Hawk Tour girl.
Yeah, that's
And then it turns out that she's a JOO. Yeah, of course, because she's probably an agent too. That thing was probably set up. You know how the thing goes.
Yeah, there's no balance in information that you're receiving anymore.
Yeah.
So you're always getting put down as one part and be made to think a particular way.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh, I'm glad you mentioned that because I wanted to talk about this UK xenophobia, patriotism situation that's going on. You know, and that's the social media has played a big part in that. You know, yeah, go on now. Whatever you got there.
Khan, this is Psalm 64 and 6. I'll start from 5. It says, they encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune of laying snares privily. They say, who shall see them? They search out iniquities. They accomplish a diligent search. Both the inward thought of every one of them and the heart is deep.
Now that's a heavy scripture. The average person does not understand that there is a higher conspiracy that affects their life. They can't get that into their brain. They don't understand. That's why they can't understand the concept of social engineering, staged events, psyops. They don't understand these things. Like the average person thinks everything. They take everything they see at face value. Everything's a real event. Especially when it comes to celebrities and what you see on the TV and what's pushed out in the media, like 95% of everything you see is a staged event. Even down to these celebrities and their relationships, that's a psyop because the celebrity has trained the average person to hop from relationship to relationship. That is actually the 99% of those relationships you see in Hollywood are relationships that they've said you are going to be with you. Okay, now you leave him, and this is how it's gonna play out, and then you're gonna go to the next person. Like someone showed me a video of Rihanna and her partners that's known.
Right,
bro,
madness.
Bro, the body count is crazy. That's on record. Just and it's like, yeah, but people don't realize that a lot of that is orchestrated. They'll be like, okay, you're gonna go with this one, and you might even have to pay for that opportunity, and you're gonna be with them so that you can be seen together, take pictures together. But they'll never give you a happily ever after story because they don't want that. They want you to always be looking up to people crashing and burning. You know, they don't want to set that example of longevity in a relationship and nobility and these things. They want you to, the person you look up to is always crashing out. So you live like that.
I was gonna say as well, it's when I look at certain of these female celebrities that will push the whole "I'm childless and happy" mantra. One day I was like, right, that must be part of the contract that they signed. Right. That you, like, for instance, what was that children's story that, like, was it not Rapunzel? Where basically it's like I'll give you these riches, but I'll take your first child. Whatever that story, I was thinking if that was, you know.
Yeah, well, of course. Listen, when you sign over, and this is what most people, they can't understand that. When the elites are able to take control, it's upside down, bro. The elites have control of these agents on a level that most people don't realize. So when they're looking at Will Smith and the slap and his relationship and everything, what's going on, they're eating it up like it's a real thing, not knowing it's all acting. It's all a script. Kanye West. Where's Kanye at? Who was the first one that started going, I'm make America great again, I'm gonna be Republican? No, really and truly, who made that a thing that everyone was, you remember that? When Kanye was talking all that, and then they had people coming against them, other celebrities, which again, that is all part of the act. The exact celebrities that were coming against him were told, okay, when Kanye says this, you need to come out and speak against it because they control both sides. But he started that whole movement. But where is he now? They've like put him on the shelf. Okay, you've done your job. We're gonna get other guys to come in and do it. You're gonna be with this sex slave girl that he's walking around with her breast out. And it's so obvious. Like, well, where is Kanye? He's so outspoken. Why ain't he talking about Trump no more? Because he started with him. Because it's all an act. Even the guys that you see that are coming against on the other side, they're all agents. Out of nowhere, Andrew Tate pops up. He's got something to say. about the Olympics thing. Of course he does. Elon Musk has something to say, and then he's gonna go backward and forward. Megan Stallion is on the Democrat side. Then you got what's her name? What's the white slut wolf shame? Amber Rose. Amber Rose is with Trump. All these guys, celebrities, they're being told, okay, you're gonna be on you're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, and most people don't understand that because it's all a psychological operation to manipulate you into giving your energy and your emotions into the psyop to get to the end, which is what you getting chipped. You playing your part in the act for you to end up getting chipped or killed or whatever the case may be, and not seeing what the actual agenda really is. Yeah, read that again. It's heavy, man. Listen, Esau is on a different level out here with the psyops, man. The fake assassination. So much of what you see is fake. Fake news storylines. They bring people into protest and they make it look like, oh, it's a massive protest. It's bullshit. But half of them are agents.
Psalm 64:2. Hide me from the secret counsel of the wicked, from the insurrection of the workers of iniquity.
Right. And we always use these music artists as the biggest example because they are. 99% of these rappers aren't writing their own raps. Once you get into the industry, they give you a ghostwriter to make sure. Yeah, they're giving you Jay-Z, and everyone's telling the same story. Or when you're in the studio with Jay-Z, he's just making it up. Whatever, man. They're told to say these things. You know what I'm saying? Like the dude's got ghostwriter.
You might do for some, but it's like the image, everything to do with their product.
It's a product. It's all lies, man.
Oh,
The insiders, they're told what narratives to speak to the public and what things to push.
Because the whole hip hop, R&B, what it's turned into all this gangster shit and all these fucking bling and eyes and shit. That's all a product that they created. They told to rap about that shit.
The lean. Now they all have to be on the lean and drinking and all that.
The drilling.
Ice Spice is a plant. She's set up to do exactly what she's doing. Sexy Red. And even the ones that come out and talk against it, they're all agents too, because they're gatekeepers. They'll only go so far. And they're there to do that. Go on,
let me finish. Verse 5 and 6. They encourage themselves in an evil matter. They commune and lay in snares privily. They say, who shall
laying
see
a
them?
snare. This whole situation that you see playing out. So you go in America, you got the left-right paradigm. In the UK, you got the left-right paradigm. Something that me and the elder Ariella talked about in the algorithm, going back to the rise of the right wing, the rise of nationalism. You got the problem reaction solution where they've created illegal immigration as a problem, which to a degree it does exist as a problem. Because why? Not only have they destabilized those countries in North Africa and West Africa and in the Middle East, they have their own agents funneling these people into Europe, and purposefully the government's pretty much not doing nothing about it. Why? Because they want it to become a problem. So Italy's filled with illegal immigrants all over the streets in certain major cities. Same with France. Same with the UK. They're coming over and then they're doing policies on purpose where they're just sticking them in hotels and paying crazy money because they're gaslighting the public to cause that problem.
Hence, you get Tommy Robinson.
You get the agents like Tommy that are there to inflame it and the Islamophobia and the gaslighting, and they'll gaslight. Then you get the rise of the popular right-wing nationalists like Donald Trump. And so you see what's happening with Trump in America, how they're even shifting a lot of the so-called black people to switch their emotional allegiance over to Trump. That's all set up and planned. Look, you gotta just think with common sense. You just gotta be intelligent and say, if I was running the Democratic Party, would I have picked Biden as the guy to win in the next election? No. Anyone could see that the guy was a dud. Then on top of that, they had Kamala. Kamala is a dud. It's set up to look the way it looks because it's all part of the theatrics, man. Because they want to set a snare. What's a snare? To bring the chaos, and in the midst of that chaos, they can now come with the solution, which is going to be martial law and the MOTB. The order out of the chaos. But to get the chaos, you need the two sides together and people emotionally charged on both sides to clash. And that's what you see happening. So the Dems are gonna do crazy dumb shit and gaslight you to your face, like the Olympics was just gaslighting.
Yeah.
What you think, man? Don't know. Listen, that weren't even trying to hide it on purpose. It's to gaslight people so that the right, oh my God, no, no, and then the libs will be like, oh, there's nothing wrong with it, and then it's just clash. They gaslight the public all the time.
And they even had the tranny that beat the woman.
Yeah.
They know man's gonna know that they're even all that stuff about Kamala Harris that's coming out now was already known before. They know all the dirt on her. They know have more dirt on her. So why did they pick her as vice president? And why didn't all that information come out in the mainstream when she was vice president? But all of a sudden now she's going for president. Even the mainstream is talking about her past now because they want you to know. The algorithm
they want you to feel a particular way about it.
Yeah, now the algorithm wants you Negroes to be like, oh, well, I'm being fooled into voting for Kamala. Kamala's not even black. But, and then so what? You're gonna vote for Trump instead of understanding. Listen, you're being played on both sides. Trump and Kamala Harris and all them guys are playing for the same team, and their goal is to have you depopulated and chipped. But you're now gonna flip from your emotional investments from one side to the other. And that's done on purpose.
Yeah, they don't understand the things that the CIA was doing in like the 50s, 60s, 70s with like what was it like Freud and a lot of the experiments into basically how to manipulate and control people.
Manchurian Candidate.
Manchurian, yep.
MK Ultra.
Yep.
They don't even understand that the majority of their purchases that they make aren't even their own idea.
No.
You know, I remember you brought that down about Inception.
Yeah.
That was actually,
that's what the film is all about.
Yeah.
It's all about subliminal messaging into your brain and gaslighting you and triggering your emotions and manipulating you to do what they want on cue. And then they have their agents to push you in the right direction. It's just like when if someone's at the top of a hill and they're on a bike, they can be there and not move down the hill. All you got to do is give them that little push, and their own momentum will take them to the bottom of the hill. That's what the agents and the little psyops do. They give people little nudges. Just like the event that happened the other day, the so-called stabbing of the 6 children, youths. That's an event to just nudge the right wing in the right way. And then you got Tommy Robinson who will turn up and give them that nudge. And then the agents and the EDL will turn up and start a little riot. And then now other people see that and think, oh yeah, I'm gonna go do it. They start copying it.
It's all witchcraft. High levels of witchcraft.
Yeah. And now Esau, Edom, they've made it where they've set up a system where a lot of these Edomites, and we're going to talk about today, feel like they're the victim. They legitimately feel like they're the victim in their own society, that they're the oppressed in their own, and they through the conditioning, they legitimately believe that.
Can I bring a couple precepts?
I just want to finish this one.
Yeah.
Psalm 64:6. They search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thought of every one of them, and the heart is deep.
Then these same Edomites that feel like victims, they're going to be very useful because those are the type of guys that you can use to do atrocities. Case in point, what's happening over there in the state of Israel right now. They've just managed to justify the killing of children, the slaughtering of children, the anal rape of they said the 2 Palestinian prisoners got anal rape to death, paralyzed, anal rape. And then what did they say? The man was saying, nah, like listen, it doesn't matter what we did to them because of October 7th. Why? Because man feel like the victim.
If I can add to your point, because that's actually something that came out. It's not a conspiracy. The NYT or something, it basically got leaked that they did a poll to basically see what would make the public more, what kind of story will make the public more aligned to Israel's side. And the number 1 thing was rape, right? Which is why they kept talking about it.
But it's the same thing they did with the Native American Indians. What you do is, here it is, Esau's went over there, so he said these natives are attacking us. They're killing the children, they're raping the women, they're scalping. Okay, yeah, you're justified now to go and just wipe them out. They're savages. Thank you very much. So we're in a situation right now, and that's why the time of Jacob's trouble, where you have to realize there's a large group of Edomites now that see themselves as the oppressed in their own nation, and they see the so-called black man and the other nations as the oppressors. They're part of the oppression that they're facing. That's why they've been doing the whole thing of all over the TV, bare black man on the TV.
All these stabbings lately are all black.
No, I mean as in being the characters.
Yeah, no, the stabbing of the soldier.
No, I don't mean that. I mean on the TV in general. If you go, if you go watch the news, on the news in the UK, knowing that so-called black people make up 3% of the UK population, that's 3 out of every 100 people. You go on BBC News, at least 3 of the anchors,
Sky News,
where they've made it. If you watch an advert for a program in the UK, the dad will be black. The dad will be black. You know what I'm saying? That's what I mean. The representation of blacks on the TV in England is way over what we actually are in society. But that's done on purpose because the Edomites are looking at it like,
there's a representation.
what the fuck is going on here? This is England, and almost every person, Doctor Who, they turn Doctor Who into a black man. All their favorite characters from the movies are getting race switched. That's on purpose because man are getting angry about it.
Even these are historical figures that they think is white.
They're race switching them.
They changed them.
That's a psyop. It's gaslighting them.
They're infuriated.
They're infuriated by that. They feel like, they're taking the one.
My identity's away, all this shit.
Because Jay Jones.
And that's what I meant. Like, I know what you're saying, but what I meant was specifically. They're doing that on. You're asking yourself, well, why are they doing this? Is it to help black people? No, it's to put you in the firing line. It's to use you to gaslight these Edomites because then they'll get the agents going. See, they want to erase you from Europe. White genocide.
That'd be good one for you. Have brown babies and just work.
That's why they're screaming in the protest, take England back and take them back. Because they're not being represented anymore.
Because I'm gonna say outside London, and maybe London and Birmingham, don't see black people like that as they see on TV. Apart from the major cities, you don't really see Jake like that in mass. So then, as the elders going into, you're in Lancashire somewhere or Gloucestershire.
Black people everywhere.
They've never seen one in real life.
But it's true. And the same thing's happening in America. So they're getting gaslit and they're like, look, the Black Lives Matter protest can go out there and do whatever they want. And we do a protest and they're cracking our skulls. That's done on purpose. It's true. The way they're dealing with these Edomites that are writing is way different to how they were dealing with the Black Lives Matter. But that's done on purpose. It's a form of gaslighting.
And they're doing the same thing with the Muslims now. Muslims can attack police and all that,
and they get away with it.
Free. Then the EDO or something can go out for a peaceful protest.
Perfect.
And they'll get battered.
Perfect. That's gaslighting 101. That's all being done on purpose to bring these men to the boiling point. So when the government flip right wing and start doing madness, they're like, get them. Them niggas in Chicago, they've been getting away with it for years. These guys have been running into the stores. Jacob been running into stores. They've been organizing that. You know them. They've been, when they run in and they see 1,000 Jacobs running. That was all set up, and then they put it on the internet, and then the people are watching it like, what? So what? Man can just run around stealing, because there's a problem, reactions, solution. And the solution is gonna be, we're gonna have to come down hard on these communities.
Minorities.
We need to take America back. Them man stole the election. We need to take America back.
They put the black woman in office.
Woo-hoo.
Come on, man.
She ain't even black.
She ain't even black.
I'm kind of hoping she gets in.
No, she's gonna get in there. The way they're just pushing her.
The way it's lining up is that they're gonna make it look like Trump has won, but announce that Kamala's won. And then that's gonna be like the end of it, because they're gonna be like, it obviously was rigged. And then that will give Trump the opportunity to take power by force, just like Caesar did. And then they're going to be inflamed to do whatever they want.
Precept, yeah, go on. This is from Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 7, verse 16. For in his hands are both we and our words, all wisdom also and knowledge of workmanship. For you have given me certain knowledge of the things that are, namely to know how the world was made, the operations of the elements, the beginning, ending, and the midst of times, the alterations of the turn of the sun and the change of the seasons, circuit years, and the position of stars. Right? Here's the point in verse 20. The natures of living creatures and the furies of wild beasts, the violence of winds and the reasons of men, the diversity of plants and the virtues of roots. Right? So the reason why I brought this out, because this is the knowledge of wisdom that, it's from Wisdom of Solomon, right? So that has been given or imparted to wise men in the scriptures, right? But Esau has also gone into these things. Right? And the scripture speaks about him being wiser than Daniel. So he's up on knowledge on how to manipulate, understanding the reasons of men, how their minds work.
And
You know,
he knows history as well.
so he knows how to play each other off.
Social engineering. He
Yeah.
knows how to stoke xenophobic
He knows-
anger
he
in
knows
the
what-
people.
He knows what works, isn't it?
He knows how to once you deindustrialize. What do they do in America? What have they done in America and what have they done across Europe? Deindustrialize. So you got a whole group of people, including Edomites, who are disenfranchised with the world they live in because they're getting squeezed. They don't have the jobs they used to have. They don't have the money. Like if you go up to the north of England, them men are down bad. Them men are down bad.
That's why they're
Like,
kicking off.
yeah, they took all the industry out of there. That's why they ended up trying to vote for Brexit, because they're like, yo, we ain't got nothing out here. A lot of them seaside cities, them men are just on drugs. That's why Jake is making all that money doing county lines.
Yeah.
The reason why they're able to make all that money in the county lines because them Edomites outside of London are down bad. So all they do is just drink alcohol and take drugs. Because there really ain't nothing else to do. They ain't got no work and they're on benefits.
Yeah.
But the stats out there without London, England is basically on par with Romania.
Yeah.
Basically right now.
Yeah,
Par
but
with Romania
outside
without
London is you got to go there to see what's going on. Yeah, there's points of people that have money, but they're little enclaves. The majority of like if you go Liverpool and all them areas surrounding like Merseyside, Newcastle,
Yeah.
oh them men are broke out here, man. They're done. So then all you got to do is push them in the right direction. Just give them someone to blame.
Someone to believe, someone to believe.
Someone to believe in and someone to blame. And right now, the person to blame is the foreigners, the invaders, these other people. And they're angry. So they're going to point them at that, man.
They were down bad before they.
But guess what? The same thing was happening in Rome. Can we get the scripture? That which is Ecclesiastes, right? Because when you go back to Rome, right, the same arguments people are having now about immigration and immigrants coming and being cheap labor and taking the jobs, those arguments were happening in Rome towards the end of the empire. Because in Rome, you had the patricians and you had the plebs. Now, the patricians were pretty much your nobles, your old families, your landowners. Kinda. It's not exactly the same. It's not nowadays. It's almost not exactly the same. Even though we have a two-party system now, the patricians, because there's a lot of Democrats that are big landowners, they're big money-making dons. But you're right. The Dems kind of say they're more for the people, whatever. But they had the plebs, which represented the common man. But remember that in the empire, everybody doesn't benefit the same. So a lot of the plebs were workers. Now, what happens when the patricians orchestrate, we're going to go over to Spain, we're going to conquer Spain. Okay, they conquer Spain. What do they come back with? Gold and slaves. So you got a slave, you got a choice. Before I was hiring some plebs to work my fields. Now I can buy some slaves and I never have to pay them a dime. They're just going to be on my plantation working my field. So I fire my pleb. Your pleb goes back to his yard. What is he now? Unemployed. Right? This is why they ended up having to do what? Bread and circus. What was bread and circus? Welfare and entertainment. Why did the average, because these were citizens that were getting that. Why did Roman citizens need bread and entertainment? Because the slaves were doing all the work. The slaves that they brought in from all over the empire, they shipped them in, were on the farms doing the work and in the businesses doing the work, and the patricians were just making their money, getting fat, just like today. Same thing they're doing. And the average man was being disenfranchised with this great empire. Here it is. I'm a citizen of Rome, and I'm on welfare. I'm in the greatest empire there is, with bare money and gold flowing all over the place. Lofty leaders. But I got to rely on this bread handout from the empire. And guess what? We're in the same situation today. You got this massive first world global empire that has formed. And within that empire, you've got citizens of that empire down bad. And so you had same thing you had back then. You had commentators who would be complaining about that, and it's recorded in the history, complaining about all the slaves that they've brought in, and now we ain't got no work, and we need to get rid of the slaves so we can have work again. This is the same thing we're seeing being played out right now. It's the same playbook. A lot of these guys are underemployed or unemployed or unable to find work, which is giving them a meaningful wage because they've been deindustrialized by either their jobs being undercut by immigrants coming and doing the jobs for cheaper, or the jobs actually being outsourced beyond like to Mexico or China or wherever, and they can have the slaves over there doing it.
And the fact these citizens that ain't doing shit got no skills
Exactly.
that are needed of the empire.
Yep.
Because there's jobs out there to be had, but you man can't fulfill them because you ain't got the skills to do it.
Back.
So now we gotta get other guys in that can do it.
Or they don't want to. Like for instance, that's why for instance you got seasonal immigration, where they'll give like Romanians to come and do like fruit picking and stuff like that. But the Brits can do that.
They don't want to do it, man. They rather go down the pub with their dole money, get the Stella in, and they're on the Twitter pissed at Jake, man.
Because what they don't understand is, for one, exactly. What they don't understand is the UK immigration system whatsoever. One, to come over now, you need money, right? I think they've changed the rules. You need like 36k onwards for you to be able to even get a British work visa. But listen to this and how insidious it is, because for most jobs you have to do something called a local talent search, right? So I, as company, have to prove to government that I have tried to hire a Brit.
Yeah.
When you don't need to do that is when you're paying the big bucks. So you're 150,000k or 125,000k onwards. You don't need to do the local talent search. Yet when they talk about immigration, they're not talking about those jobs.
No.
They're talking about your regular jobs.
And to top it off, you sort of replace people with machines and
Exactly.
AI.
Yeah.
It's getting even worse.
Yeah.
You know, now these immigrants ain't got shit to do either.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
So now you just
and that's a good point. A lot of these illegal immigrants they're bringing in now are coming in specifically because agents, and this is what I'm trying to tell you and explain to you, that whole thing of all them illegal Mexicans being brought up into America, there's a whole organism set up by the governments to do that. Cartels and gangs, but these guys are extensions of the elites. The elite, if you didn't know, the elites control all of the black market. Those things are not outside the realm of their control, if you didn't know that information, right? So they're the ones that are getting people to say, yeah, you can come to, I'll help you get here. And they help them get there. Yeah, come, and they'll tell them what to do. When you come, this is what you need to say, this is what you need to do, and you're gonna get this. Stick to this storyline. Tell them you're this age. Boom, boom, boom. They all got niggas be like 28, man. Yeah, just tell them you're 15, and boom, 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 and you're gonna get this, you're gonna get that, I'm gonna get this. That's all being done on purpose. So they're even being a welfare load, putting them up in hotels and all these kind of stuff, causing a housing crisis.
Yeah. Because it's crazy. As a Brit, you can't just fly to America. And this England is a first world country, right? You have to have what do you call it? You have to have the interview. You have to get the visa. So you're telling me some illegal can do these
skateboard. They have routes. They have ways to get them in.
Can I go something quick?
Just like in America, they got tunnels that the CIA they know what's going. They know. They just let them come in. Let them come in. We need as much of these men as possible because they're gonna make part of the problem that we need to solve later on. It's all set up, man.
They know they're costing the channel and this kind of shit. What the can't stop, man.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? They know where they go. They go to pick them up. They already know all this thing.
He's got unlimited resources. He could put money into sorting out that problem on the border and start deporting these men back as soon as they come, and it will cost them less money.
They'll know as soon as a Russian aircraft hits airspace.
Yeah,
but they don't know there's a boat on the shore waiting for man to take man in.
What Russians are in there?
Oh, no, because Russians have to know. It's not on purpose. You know, the blind, like a blind side, we don't pay attention to that part. It's on there.
It's all being allowed to happen. Not even just being allowed, it's being orchestrated to happen the way it's happening, man.
It's like, this is from Acts chapter 17, right? I'll make the point in a second, right? It says, but the Jews which believe not, move with envy, took unto them certain lewd fellows of the baser sort. And basically, the baser sort easier inflamed.
The mob.
Yeah.
The mob.
Because that's it, they ain't doing nothing. They're fucking drinking, taking drugs, but they're angry. They're not really on nothing. But they're the easiest ones to get to. You know? That's why they always face the base assault, man. That's why they're prepared to go burn police cars and
we've seen them out there. They join in with these riots, start throwing rocks and all this kind of stuff, and they got a few provocateurs out there to
You
help
need
them
the
along.
simple to do these things.
You got
You know?
pent up frustration.
And then now they've been able to start passing more laws
Mhm.
against riots
Yeah,
because of
yeah.
what's happened.
Now
Which
they
is the
give-
point.
They said they're going to give more laws or more freedom to the police to
Yeah. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
problem, reaction,
yeah.
solution.
deal with
Escalate.
these
Yeah.
riots.
It says, yes, it took unto them certain new fellows of the base of sort and gathered a company and set all the city on an uproar. That's what you're seeing.
Yep.
You know, that's what we're seeing up there in Merseyside and that. Man are just going wild because they feel that we're being oppressed.
And even
Yeah.
if,
They
And,
really
and
think-
we don't tell me you're defending Christianity because y'all
Yeah,
don't go to church and you never read the Bible.
Yeah.
That's just those joke things. Listen, we all know the English people don't deal with the churches are derelict, man.
most of them
The only
atheists
time
and-
them man use a church is
Yeah.
like a marriage if they do that
Or
and
for a
a funeral. So don't act like you lot are Christian crusaders and you believe in Christ. Like, let's not play them games, man. The only man that's really riding for Christianity in the UK is some Niger dons, some Ghana dons, like some Jamaican dons somewhere in London or Birmingham that's out there. God is good. You know, niggas is just out there with the. You don't really see them Edomites out there like.
They're patriots for Caesar Borgia.
Yeah, they go hard for Christianity, man.
Okay.
These Edomites ain't going hard. Their churches ain't filled on a Sunday, man. A bunch of 80-year-olds up in there. Like,
Two million.
but then, again, that's the thing. Islam is invading, and
Yeah.
but you guys don't believe in Christianity, but so what's your problem?
Well, like the agent said, why weren't they in an uproar with the whole France thing with the Olympics?
Yeah.
Because that was a straight mockery, man.
That's
of the
straight
Muslims.
blasphemy.
Yeah.
On both parts, man.
Yeah.
Because the
It
image
took Andrew Tate, who's in Islam, to be mad
Yeah.
about it.
him and 3 other people
Of course he
in
would be at the
Romania. In
forefront.
Romania, they're
Yeah.
protesting in the street.
Of course he would, innit?
But that whole thing was blasphemous anyway. The image that they're
The
crying about.
Da Vinci thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the division, that's
yeah.
blasphemy in itself.
Exactly,
Then they put Chinese. So it's always just
Double
wickedness,
mindful.
wickedness. Yeah,
Yeah.
double Satan, bro.
Good.
I'm thinking what should be saying.
The book of Ecclesiasticus 10, I'm starting from 1.
It does say that in the scriptures, turn to child of Satan, double and all that.
These Edomites, man.
The book of Ecclesiasticus 10 and 1. A wise judge will instruct his people, and the government of a prudent man is well ordered. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. And what manner of man the ruler of the city is, such are all they that dwell therein.
And they're gonna put a cruel character in power. When that Jacob's trouble is there, the potus or the leader is gonna give those orders to come down hard on the people. And there's gonna be people that's gonna be there with it. Like, yeah, get these people. These people don't want to be chipped. These people are the problem. Blah 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 blah. They're gonna come down hard on the people. That's why Jacob's trouble is gonna be a serious thing, but people can't see it because in the West they're not used to. You know, maybe if you're from like Nigeria, you might or somewhere like that, you might used to some warlord, you know, giving some orders. A man just go to a village and just start clapping up people. But you're not really used to that in the West. You're not used to. Well, it's happened before. But we're not used to it in the modern era.
Yeah.
The idea that orders can be given to just go and wipe out, you know, extreme prejudice with a group of people, open up fire on a group of rioters. But that's the point where we're gonna get.
All they see in the TV on the movie as entertainment.
Yeah.
Show them
They don't think, they think they're safe from that, but you're not. They're preparing that right now. That's why the Republicans are getting more and more emotional. You tried to kill our president, and then they throw the religious element. God is with us, and he's anointed by God. He's the Messiah.
Protected.
These are turning into zealots, man.
It's so like you can see it, clear vision. Clear as day. The prophets can see these things happening. That's why we're telling you what's gonna unfold.
We need
It's
to
a
take our
process.
country back.
Yeah, it's a process. But the people that's involved, they can't see that what's going on around them. They're lost in the matrix. They don't understand that they're being used.
Man,
As a
already,
tool.
one guy said, listen, one guy came on and said, he said, oh, you Dems, you Democrats, you're lucky. You should thank God that that bullet didn't hit Trump. Because it would have been on from there. Like that,
You got a lot of patriots.
yeah, this idea of the patriot. Yeah. And the same that patriot term is happening here in the UK.
No, definitely.
Oh, when they see the people marching, the patriots, they're taking their country back. finally the white people are standing up.
Yeah, you see it on the comic board. They're
Yeah,
going
yeah,
crazy.
they're getting crazy.
I did a video the other day. Remember that the Apple Pack letter to Mancini? They talk about exhausting the violence basically between the Christian and the Islam and that kind of stuff, the East and the West. That's what's being played out right now, even within your own country. Even like I say, even Christians are being put together because basically they're going to show how these religions you need to rid of them all. You know, and bring in the true Luciferian doctrine.
What's that? The letter 3 more,
Which is the beast.
Albert Pike's letter.
Yeah. That's what. You know, that's exactly what's playing out right now. And whether you want to believe that is real or not, what's happening?
Yeah, they said that from back then. They said they're going to orchestrate a mass religion war between Christianity and Islam, and then they're going to use Islam as the main base to break down society.
What's going on in the Middle East as well?
Yeah,
You've got Israel and Iran, right?
Zionists,
The Christians are back in Israel, you know, and obviously
somewhat,
you got the Muslim nations. They're obviously against Israel, and so they're just going to exhaust that confrontation, man.
Now they're, you know,
Exactly.
now they're assassinating so-called leaders.
That was mad.
Certain top leaders have been taken out. So it's just going to escalate until, you know, to no return, basically. This is all about a destabilization of Esau's empire, man. This place is breaking down.
definitely breaking down. Chaos is coming, man.
Yeah, man.
Big chaos. And like I said, these men are gonna get nasty. Just like there was a video actually of some random. He's probably set up. I don't know what he was doing, but no, not Jake. He was the Asian guy. And he was just walking along, and he man was an idiot walking past the rioters. And as he was walking, man's like, what, bam? And what happened was everyone started celebrating when he got punched. But the man wasn't doing nothing. He just punched him, and all in the comment board they were like, yeah, get him. So again, that's what they're going to be doing when they're going to be shooting you Jakes down. Man are going to be celebrating. Yeah, get them thugs, them criminals. It's about time someone sorted them out. That's how it's going to be. The time of Jacob trouble. They're going to be, like the government need to deal with these wild animals.
Yeah, because the niggas ain't making it any easier. They're making it.
Well,
the situation in the South End, all these niggas running in the street with machetes.
Yep.
They're adding to the fucking.
I'm glad you said that. They've allowed Jacobs
niggas,
basically documented themselves doing foolishness, and then the elites take that and use the algorithm and push that out.
Yeah.
So the view that the average Edomite has of you, Jake, is you're just wild motherfuckers that will anywhere you act out, like in Selfridges or you know.
So you celebs to do that as well.
Selfridges, Dubai, like man, be up in a burger store and somebody ain't giving you some ketchup and you just go into a big brawl. So even though Edomites do that, but they're not gonna highlight that. But they highlight when Jake do all this crazy stuff, and Jake don't really realize that all that stuff is the Edomites are watching that, and they're thinking to themselves, "What the fuck is going on, and why ain't no one dealing with this?"
But once again, those same Edomites aren't around regular Jake, because if they were, they'll be like, actually, that's a subset. That's a subset.
They're like the minority of the minority.
You know, Esau loves to do the stereotype. That's what he's gonna use.
It's not the majority.
That's why when you see Chinese people, they come up, they interact with a Jake. They're like kind of like. Take that back. They think all they see is Jake.
Well, World Star, what is World Star Hip Hop?
Modern day World Star.
World Star Hip Hop was just created to showcase
the worst,
the worst of Jake. And Jake think it's entertainment, but they don't know. You're not the only one watching that. Worldwide. The world, the Edomites are on there. Go on any World Star video, and it's all Edomites on there commenting.
15 million views and all. Yes,
Edomites on there like these fucking animals, man. The usual suspects. The usual suspects. So that's what we're trying to tell you. When we warned you about the time of Jacob trouble, man, that sword is gonna. Let's start getting these precepts.
21.
This is the book of 2 Timothy 3:1. This know also that in the last days perilous times shall come, for men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy.
And just a quick point on that. That's why even like our brothers have been saying regarding the Israelite thing, don't go out there. Look, the scripture says, "Be wise as serpents, harmless as doves." Don't go out there portraying like it's some black militia, dressing like it's some black militia with weapons at the camp and all that. Because Esau's going to use that to his advantage, man. You see what happened with Sakari. He's in these last days when they're going to come for the men of the Lord. They're going to use those clips of Sakari with the guns at camp and say, "Look, we all got guns."
And look, man, we're going to be persecuted, man.
Well, we know that.
We're going to be persecuted. The disciples, the apostles were persecuted, man.
But let it be innocent.
Innocent,
That's it. You know,
not for no black militia.
the Lord will either deliver you from the situation, or you have that as a testimony. You know, that's what it'll be. You have to accept that.
I just wanted to make
Yeah,
that point.
well, there's agents out in the Israelite thing that's set up to
Invoke COINTELPRO,
yeah,
man.
to paint a certain picture of us, man.
Yeah.
We know that because they do that with everyone. They're doing that with the Muslims. You got
EPO,
agents. Say if you got Andrew Tate,
Andrew
Anjem
Tate,
Chowdhury,
Tommy Robinson,
Bin Laden.
Tommy Robinson. They do it with every group, bro.
Yeah, they got the COINTELPRO.
Every group.
Same like in Yahweh
Even with the Jewish people, they got Zionism. They got counterintelligence and that too.
The gatekeepers.
Mad. The people don't understand, man. When you're dealing with Esau, Esau is a master manipulator. That's why the scriptures call him the devil, Diablos, man. He's the greatest deceiver on the face of the earth. He's maybe able to manipulate and change his character and put himself into every
people
group,
can't see that because
every facet of society.
they don't see that there's a way that you can have control over all these characters you see on the TV. But yet still, when they take their photos off, they're always taking the photo with one eye over like this,
Or they got the
constantly. How? So they just all just doing that,
all of a sudden,
They just all just doing
the
that,
hand
yeah?
just come out.
they all got
That's not natural. It's not natural. When's the last time you was just with your man them and you took a picture and you're like, yo, let me cover one eye. Let me find a way to cover an eye. Bro, my man just be like, but these men are always like in the picture.
All this other shit, 666.
Yeah. Or this one.
Yeah,
Because they know that, listen, they're part of it. They're a character. When they give them the phone call and says, go here and do this, or you're going to be part of this event, or you need, just like when the seating happened, they all had the ones who were meant to be pro it was pro it, and the ones that were meant to be against it, because they always have to keep a certain amount of them to play that other side.
Oh, even going back to the Olympics with the Snoop Dogg, the goat head.
Yeah.
He come up with the goat head and he tried to make it
Why is Snoop Dogg doing that?
stupid.
He's not even a big
That's how you
celebrity.
show
Like,
it.
why are you carrying a torch?
He's not even an athlete. As if he went into the store and said, yeah, I like that goat. I'm going to buy that goat.
Snoop Dogg's been an agent ever since that fake murder case that they had with him.
Back in the day. That's when he got initiated.
And he beat the murder case, man. Same with Tupac, man.
No one's ever said he
Tupac's
goat.
whole
So,
career was fake.
No one's ever said he
Everything about Tupac was fake. Even his killing was fake.
character.
He was there as a psyop on so-called black people, man.
Yeah.
The false black messiah. But again, you can't tell Jake that because Jake believe everything they see.
Exactly.
They believe all the hip hop beef. Oh, Drake and
really
Kendrick are really. That was all orchestrated. Like they get even didn't Eminem say in one of his raps here that what's that called, the Machine Gun Kelly? Oh, did he gave you the okay and all that?
Yeah.
Because these rap beefs that you see that are publicized and TMZ getting on, TMZ are handlers. Everyone's always there to get the information and release this. It's all a show that script writers are putting together. Okay, this rapper's gonna do this over here, and this one's gonna do this over here.
Yeah.
Sometimes you hear these man get shot and killed. It's a setup. It's not even real. It's just an event that happened, and they just give man a new name and a new life and move him on somewhere else, man. But the whole point is they want to keep that toxicity going.
Nipsey Hussle could still be alive, man.
We don't know.
Somalia somewhere.
We don't know because so much of this stuff is scripted and orchestrated events to manipulate the people, man. Like the whole East-West hip-hop beef between Biggie and Tupac, man.
That shit's still going to this day.
Bullshit,
30
man.
years later, they're still going on with this Biggie and Tupac, like to say
Bullshit, man.
East West and all that madness. You know? And then they use the Drake and Kendrick to rouse it back up now. And, you know, now they're banning artists to come to Canada. They're banning American artists to come to Canada to perform all this stupid shit. Like,
Listen, man. Yeah, my rule of thought is if it's all over the TV, I'm hella. It's 90% staged until proven otherwise. That's what I see it. Because these man, Esau don't put shit on that TV or publicize it unless he wants it to be out there.
no. Even with this new situation with the three piglets that got killed by the so-called Jake or the Somalian, whatever that guy is, if you see
He's a Rwandan.
Rwandan, it's a Hamite. If you see the picture, it was like a deep fake, man. It's not even really his face, man. Like,
Yeah, no one know him. None of his friends or no one
where did he
from
come
his
from?
school are even saying like anything about him.
Yeah.
All you know is some vague information they're giving you on the TV, and then we saw something, but not sure what they saw. You saw a bunch of police, but you didn't actually see anything. So how do we know that it actually happened in some place that no one had ever heard of?
Yeah.
Some random spot, and then they name drop a celebrity as usual.
Oh, it was a Taylor Swift.
Oh, okay, that's how I knew. Okay, okay.
And apparently, during that whole stabbing, there was talks about there was police already there on site when the so-called stabbings happened. It's all bullshit, man. So bullshit.
He was in the Lord as well.
Yeah.
I mean, checking on him as well. I'm sorry to say.
So bullshit.
Yeah, apparently.
That's why they say the same.
Yeah,
Believe
so
half of what you see and only whatever or what you hear, because Esau, as we said, Esau's the master manipulator.
It was a fact in the Guardian. They literally said that no one had seen him in the house. Like they knew the parents, but this kid was like no one really. And I was in the garden. I sent a screenshot. I saw him eat. I was like, wait, what? What you mean no one knew this kid?
Non-existent, man.
story right.
But he's having a court case right now. But I don't know. I'm not there. I'm not in the court. And you might think, well, how can you fake that? Because if you control the judges and the lawyers, most of these people are masons.
Compromise.
So you put your right people in the position, they could just go along with anything when it's not even real. Remember that most of these lawyers and judges and all these people that you think are in these positions are all part of a fraternity.
Yeah.
So if someone comes to them and says, listen, this is what we're gonna do, just hold it down. Okay, we'll run with it. Go on.
Continuing on in 2 Timothy 3, verse 2. For men shall be lovers of their own selves, covetous, boasters, proud, blasphemers, disobedient to parents, unthankful, unholy, without natural affection, truth breakers.
And you're getting a lot of that today. You got certain so-called Israelites in this truth bugging out. Yeah, those are the elders say the t-shirts of the week, man. The Hassad and the car, they're just bug outs that are just basically been rejected in the Holy Spirit. The Spirit's not dealing with them, man. And they ain't got the memo yet. They're still thinking that the Lord's dealing with them. But the Lord's never really been dealing with you. He will set you up to be a stumbling block for the 2/3ites, man. Because if the Lord was dealing with you, he wouldn't have led you down the path that you're in right now. And you wouldn't be rejecting the truth from the elders and apostles, man, which is the truth of Yahweh Shai, the doctrine.
Why? First of all, why did a man have a logo? Like, there's so much about that Sakari thing that it does make you really feel like this guy was an agent that was sent in.
But now they're Genesis Israelites, apparently.
You know, because them man have got the wings.
Yeah,
that's
the
the same
wings, the
thing
swords,
Gigs and them
all
man
that.
got. You know, SN1.
Oh, yeah,
It's
SN1,
the same. You know,
flag,
the flag with the wings and the sword in the middle.
Even the name alone just is like, oh, because that just means that you're just rebellious and you're carnal, basically. That's why Sakari did what they were doing, because they were carnal anyway, man.
And they run with the blue.
The blue and the red and all that. These men are carnal, man.
Yeah, we don't trust none of you dudes, man. All you dudes could just be set up agents, man.
Yeah, because now Hassad's moving like Volkan. The spirit of Volkan Malone's on Hassad. And now he's trying to go around stalking camps and, you know, just acting reckless, man. You know, because the spirit's not dealing with you. But just like the brothers reading the precept, the Lord said that these things would happen in these last days. So-called brothers are going to start rebelling, man. You know?
There's incontinent, fierce, despisers of those that are good, traitors, heady, high-minded, lovers of pleasures more than lovers of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai.
Yeah, lovers of pleasures. That's why they had their Passover in a damn strip club, man.
Yeah. And that's why all these jakes are working for Esau. All these jakes that these politician jakes, like you know, you get them jakes that are politicians, them jakes that are in certain positions. They know what they know. They serve Satan, because once you get inducted into them fraternities, right, straight away you start moving into witchcraft and evil. So you know what you're doing is on the left hand side. There's no mystery involved. Yeah. But the reason they go along with it is because they want the pleasures, the perks that come with serving the system. Because once you're serving Esau in that realm, you're gonna get certain things, certain pleasures that you're not gonna get just being in the end. Do you know what I'm saying? So they go along with things, man. That's why they want to be celebrities. That's why they want to be the influencer is just an extension of the celebrity. Most of these influencers are agents. We done told you this. Kais and that. All these guys that end up blowing up and being crazy big and all these subscribers and command all these people's attention, they're not natural. Those people have to be under control. Esau will not allow you as an individual to influence millions of people.
Yeah, battling the algorithm.
You just wouldn't allow you. So you see Aiden Ross and now he's come up. Oh, he's gone political now. He's against Kamala Harris now. Of course, because they're gonna make sure they put these men on the side to join in with the side.
They all support a facet of what Esau's trying to do, innit?
Yeah, of course they are. You're influencers.
So he's trying to be Shapiro for the youth.
So you
But
got.
this is
You
why
got
we'll never be mainstream.
Yeah.
We're never
No.
putting out because we're not a facet he's trying to
I'm
push.
glad you used that term, mainstream. A lot of these influencers are basically mainstream, but the thing about the influencers, because they've started off from a small beginning and grown big, people think, oh, it's natural. No, it's just like the rappers. They do the same thing with them. They'll start them off small, but already know we're gonna make them into a star. And then to make it look like, oh, he's just come up naturally. It's not no humble beginnings. Just like Drake, he was already in the industry. He was, you know, what I mean, he didn't have no humble. He didn't start from no bottom and reach the top.
He was already acting. And
So it's the same thing with these influencers, man. They make it look like we're gonna make it look like you just did a few things. But all Logan Paul, all these big major streamers and influencers, and then it came out that they're all part of the same management company. Mr. Beast, Mr. Beast, and all these guys. These guys are all agents.
And
They're all agents.
They
But
all have to go live in California for a while.
Yeah. They're there so that when they're called upon to push a certain agenda or portray a certain character like Speed, right? Portray a certain what's this other guy, the Nigerian one, KSI. These guys are all agents, man. They're all agents, and they've sold their souls and they've been put into a position. Same with the rest of these celebrities, so that they can be used for psyops and influence over the dumbed down masses, man.
I was gonna say we all know about shadow banning, like where in the actual algorithm it will be like, and in fact Twitter's one got leaked a few months ago. I never did go through it, but it'll be like if you touch on these particular things, then we'll de-rank you.
Oh, Andrew Tate is a good example. Yeah. Out of nowhere, this guy blew up. I'm the most famous man on the planet. Yeah, because you're an agent. That's why. Your mate, he's on Piers Morgan. He's cancelled, but he's on Piers Morgan. No, we don't want no one to know about you, but you're on Piers Morgan.
Now you're Missy. Now you're
Mizzy, another one, another
live
agent.
stream with Elon Musk and fucking Alex Jones.
Elon Musk and Alex Jones.
That's a PR disaster, which proves it's fake, because as your PR guys will be like, look, you cannot be seen with certain people. Here it is supposed to be the richest man in the world, but you're on
He
chatting.
banned you from Twitter.
Yeah, but you see, let's show man the perfection of the psyop. There's two companies working on brain stem.
BCI brain.
You got Neuralink and Synchron. Who owns Neuralink? Elon Musk. What side of the paradigm is he on? The red side. Yeah. So all of you men that's on Trump's side worship Elon Musk and they support brain chipping, right? Okay. Who's on the other side? Synchron, the other company that rivals Neuralink. Who owns that? Jeff Bezos and Bill Gates, the left wing dons. So you see, on the left wing and the right wing, all their technological saviors are pushing the same technology. This is how Esau works.
Yeah. It's from 2 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. And no marvel, for Satan himself is transformed into an angel of light. Therefore, it is no great thing if these ministers, these agents, the agents that work for him, right, be transformed and ministers of righteousness, whose end shall be according to their work.
Trump is a perfect example of that. These men are painting him like he's the righteous one, because he says something here and there like, oh, I'm going to make sure that it's just male and female. That's bullshit. Listen, we haven't forgotten that this guy said he was going to arrest Hillary Clinton and drain the swamp. Did people forget that? Did he not already have 4 years? So anything he promises you that sounds like, yeah, that's good. He also promised to arrest Hillary Clinton.
Oh, it was his juice.
Yeah. He didn't arrest Hillary Clinton. He didn't drain the swamp, not even one little bit. So you can't trust what this man says. He's leading you on. The false Messiah, Donald Trump. That's all he is. He's a false Messiah. He represents Christianity. He represents the God and goodness. No, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't represent the Most High. What are you talking about? God intervened for him like he's some miracle prophet. Like no, it wasn't. Don't think, man.
And here in the UK as well, like they swear both to the state on both sides. When they get in there, like they actually, I forgot what
Yeah, speak up.
Yeah. When the MPs, like even for example, when Labour took power recently, all of them, whether they were both Conservative or Labour, both had to take an oath to King Charles and State, where basically they swore allegiance not to God but to King Charles and
Who's
State.
a witch?
Yeah.
Who's a high-level high priest in witchcraft, man, in the UK.
And the words literally read, I swear by the Almighty God that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to His Majesty King Charles, his heirs, successors according to law. Like, I mean, you're straight, like, they're not following the rules, like, they're straight up aligning themselves.
Yeah, and they don't give a damn about the people either. They're just playing a character.
Maccabees, you saying how these Jakes, they know what they're doing.
Compromise one.
Yeah, they're compromised.
But,
Yeah, for pleasures. So all these guys is for the pleasure. They're not doing it to suffer. They're not doing it for suffering. They're doing it for pleasures. And they get the pleasures when they put them in position. Like this guy Cartel. He's the flavor of the week. Vibes Cartel has influenced, as one of the most detrimental people in terms of influencing Jamaican culture into deep levels of niggerism. Because what most people associate with Jamaican culture, which is the toxicity, right? If you go to Jamaica like 60, 70 years ago, you wasn't seeing none of that. All the passa thing and all the level 10 yardyisms and all the most toxic, virulent form of Jamaican, it wasn't always like that. It got changed like that through dancehall, through the artists,
Music, yeah,
and the music, and then making things more about shooting and killing and whoredom and all these different things. Yeah? And he done a great job. He even said it in an interview. I am the shepherd and they are the sheep. And then in one song he said, "Me reach heights are evil, 33-degree masonry." Even
that's why I said it in the post. Barabbas is free. They wanted the murderer out there.
he was doing the most, man. Influencing, man was a don, killing people, all them kind of things.
He gonna do it
He's
again.
the agent.
Gonna do it again, man.
But then the thing is, he'll have songs where he says the government are fight against me. Now that's bullshit. The government is with these guys. The government is with these guys on what they're doing. They don't ban them. They don't ban what they're doing. They'll ban you though if you do a song about
Yeah.
because they remember they managed to ban the Batman thing, right? So how come they can't ban songs about killing Informer? How come they're allowed to make songs about killing? If a man can't go to the police to report a crime, you're supposed to kill him. Well, hold on. So you could ban a song where if a man say kill a batty man, because that's wrong. But it's not wrong for a man to say kill someone who wants to report a crime to the police.
To make Jamaica a better place.
No, because it's not bad to say kill granny and kill dog and kill. No, because they're happy with all that. That's all good because they want to drive Jake to be like that.
Yeah. They just had Nevada come to London last week or something. Had some sold out show and all that. So if Vibes Cartel comes to London, you know it's gonna be a
Nah, he might not make it out of Jamaica, bro. I'm saying he gotta get a visa.
First Maccabees 1:11. In those days went there out of Israel wicked men who persuaded many, saying, "Let us go and make a covenant with the heathen that are round about us."
You guys had guys like High Priest Jason.
Yeah.
He was a wicked ass fucking priest, so-called Levite priest. You got Levites in this truth as well. Talk about they're the high priest of Israel. I'm not gonna name any names, but they're pushing the Greekish fashion as well. They
I
wear
became
hats.
a high priest in 3 years. Like
All of a sudden, wear hats as well. That's the Greekish fashion. They're wearing hats. You got the long ass hair. You wear t-shirt undergarments, fringes. You're pushing that same wicked ass theology as Jason the high priest.
Man became a high priest, like the fast track.
Yeah, all of a sudden,
The fast track fucking
he's the only Levite allowed in the not even just Levite in the temple. He's the only Levite allowed in the temple.
Yeah, the Lord has to wait for him.
The Lord has to wait for him outside the temple. He's the only. He's doing the proceeding. Yeah, that's crazy. This guy, man. Yeah, that's why the Lord broke your whole shit up, man.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah. And then you also say that you don't have to worship Yahweh Shai. So you're just a straight up
gatekeeper. This is what happens. You're gonna get Hebrew Israelite groups that are there that Esau's paid off. Because we mentioned it already. We're gonna get into it still, but get the MOTB real quick. The MOTB, right? When we first come in the truth, the apostles were saying, look, the implantable RFID chips, yeah. Ain't nobody weren't getting chipped. The technology weren't ready. Even when we were back then, They had an oyster. Did they even have an oyster card?
Pre-oyster.
They had the.
I think you had those.
When we were, yeah, we had
coming in
oyster
your
card, but
phone,
you
you
couldn't pay with your bank card yet.
No.
I'm
That
sure
was a
you
new thing.
the bank card came after that,
Yeah,
right? You people gotta understand is like the elders taught us about the implantable RFID chip, and I can promise you, over the course of the last 14 years, everything that's happened has only further proved that that is the case. The ubiquitous nature of RFID technology and biometric technology now is infinitely more than it was 10 years ago. The brain chip being developed. Because then you say, well, maybe you could get, he said, what if you ain't got no hands? Like, and then the guy said, well, maybe you could get one in his forehead. And then he remember he had to be like, oh,
That's crazy. But now they've actually done
but they've got all that, man.
So when you look at what's been happening, especially on like a global stage in terms of like people moving between countries and the immigration stuff and everything that they've been doing in the last couple of years, is actually crazy. So once again, the majority of the world's countries now have biometric passports, right?
Passports with RFID chips inside.
Exactly.
Your banking is done through RFID.
Exactly. You know, the whole system is prepared, and when you look at different countries and how basically does experiments in different countries, because for instance, a country that goes under the radar is Estonia, right? Whereas Estonia, everyone's got an ID, everyone's got a government issued ID, and everything is on that ID.
Tech is high in that.
Tech is high. Yeah. They call it the most technologically advanced government. That's what they. Because so basically, all you have to then do is put that ID in the device and put it under the skin. And their system is already prepared.
Digital ID, because your digital ID and your biometric data can all be stored on a chip. What proves that? The e-passport. Your e-passport that you have here in the UK has all your biometric data and all information on the chip which is within the passport. All we're saying is now that chip is going to go in your hand. Now hold on, let's talk about the payment side of it, the CBDC. What did the bank, the BIS, the Bank of International Enslavement, right? What did they say in regards to CBDC rollout? They said if you're going to have a CBDC, it is digital ID is paramount. You can't have a CBDC without a digital ID system. That's going to prevent fraud and all that garbage. So it all has to come together in one package. But that's where you get the buy-in and the selling. You got it. We got to go into it, man, because that's why it's funny. We started off in these agent. The Spirit wants to talk us about these Israelite gatekeeping camps, man, and we're just got to say it straight. The way it looks is that IUIC, Nate Satan, and General Yohana and Sakari, which happen to be, if you were to call it, they happen to be the, if you look at, you got GMS. Yeah, I didn't want to use that word, but basically, in terms of Israelite thing, them guys are big. No one really knows the other little, like HODC. No one really knows about them. The Israelites, I don't even know. Do they still have them guys? I don't know. GOCC, are they really relevant? Like, where they at, man? They're just doing sing-alongs. But IUIC, they big. They're big. ISUPK is big. Big 501c3 dons, all right. And then IUIC and ISUPK, they have the same doctrine when it comes to the mark of the beast, and it don't make no sense, the doctrine. So where did they get it from? The gatekeepers, man. Who did they get it from? Can we get the mark of the beast scripture?
It's the book of Revelation 13 and 16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Now, who has the power to cause every citizen in the country to do something? Does your job have that power? No. Your job does not have the power to command you to do anything that is outside of employment law. Your job is and a lot of Jake don't know this. That's why you go to work and you get bullied in workplace. We've had these conversations before. You are loaned to your employer by the government. Your job has to follow employment law. Anything outside of that has to be an agreement which is specifically signed by you and your employer. So I can't go to work tomorrow and my employer says, you have to have a chip in your hand in order to work. What would you mean? That's not. First of all, that's not in my contract.
No,
You're gonna have to do some suing here because that's not. And then it's gonna be a problem.
but the government.
But the government can force you to have that. They can cause a law or a statute that says, as a citizen, you must have it. So that's where it's going. The mandate is actually going to come from.
And then you got these world organizations as well that are really interfering with governmental affairs. The whole pandemic thing showed that, man, and they plan on giving more power the next time it happens.
Yep.
You know, so they demand the government do a particular thing. So
And the
we don't want
government
to
will
do
do
this. It's not like they're the bad guys in this. They're being advised to, well, being told to do it essentially.
Yep.
You know,
And they will do it. And that's who's going to come down. Your POTUS, your good old president, executive order. Yep.
Yep.
Everyone needs to
put
put
it
it.
in the law right up.
Everyone, because it said everyone, not a small. Now the military, they operate within themselves. So the military could do it by themselves, but the government can cause all, everyone that is a citizen, to get to do a thing. And it said small and great. What does great mean? It means you're a man of stature in society. You're big wigs.
Common person.
But your small person is just your normal everyday Joe Blow. Small and great, rich or poor. Don't matter if you're rich or you're poor. You're gonna have to have it. Free or bond represent the citizen that's at liberty, and you're a prisoner.
Yeah, and that doesn't include the elite. But the elite, they ain't gonna get no chip. They're gonna be outside of the matrix controlling them.
Well, they might they go. Well, no, not necessarily. Because they even show you in that movie,
They've got great access.
Gamer, that he had this chip, but his chip could control man. You remember that? And you remember that film? What was it? It's with because they believe in transhumanism.
You know,
It's just that they're not gonna
Merging
give.
man
They're,
with
they're gonna
machine.
have their own shit.
Controlling shit. Yeah.
There was two movies. There was one film with the guy from Dexter. Yeah, it was called Gamer. Yeah, they got.
I haven't watched it.
You ain't seen it? I'm surprised you ain't seen it. And in the film, basically, everyone's got chips in order to operate this game. So in order to play the game, you gotta have a chip, right? And then the chip is supposed to basically be able to control other things. But then the guy that owned the company, man come to fight him, yeah? And then he was like,
The boss, innit?
he could control, and he had man, and he did this whole thing where he was making man dance and all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, I can see that though.
You will definitely do
Rothschilds could probably do some shit.
Yeah, and then he found out, yeah, my chip can control everyone's chip.
Yeah.
So they can have the chip. It's just that their chip is not gonna have the same constraints that everyone else has.
It's like Sauron and Lord.
Well, they had that movie in time as well.
In time,
Justin Timberlake.
the chip. There was a movie they put on Netflix where there was a shortage of water, and then you can get different levels of chip. And some man had the chip that can give you unlimited water, and then some man had the chip where you can only get a certain amount. Yeah,
Yeah, I got something with it.
and that's why I said all.
Yeah, oh. Oh. This is Psalms 94 and 20. Shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law?
Yeah,
And that goes into your government rules.
and now you got guys saying, "Oh well, they'll pass a law." Listen, laws don't mean nothing in a crisis. Any law can be changed and expunged in a crisis. Oh well, they said the CBDC law that you can't have a. Actually, that's not what the law said. But I promise you this: in the event of a crisis or the complete collapse of the financial system, the president can issue an executive order to bring in a CBD system, just like that.
Yeah.
Boom, done.
State of emergency. Yeah.
State of emergency, they can pass any law they want.
None of that.
Always remember that. Like it doesn't matter.
They brought a whole bunch of bees in without any proper testing.
Yeah, they could push that through. They could do whatever they want in a crisis. That's why they're gonna create a crisis. So don't believe them.
And they can also use, because I always think back to when England went into lockdown, there was a whole thing with Boris basically saying we're not a country that does that. So what they did is they basically made it seem like it was the will of the majority of the people, where Arsenal cancelled their game. Arsenal, Man City was like, we shouldn't do this, this is bad, and it made it seem like the businesses and everyone were going to do it anyway. So what did Boris do? Well, it seems like we have to, so then now we're going to do this thing. Right, so basically saying how they're gonna make the situation seem like the will of the people, right, of a way out of that particular problem.
They could say we're discussing how they're good at manipulating.
Yeah.
You know, these views, opinions, and have people feeling a particular way.
You remember
You know?
Bear Grylls? had to bite the sword, man. Pause. Like when he came out, he said, "Oh, you should just go and exercise," and then he had to issue an apology afterwards. Like, what did you do wrong, bro? You just told people to go exercise. Like, get out, get out in the sun and all that. But he had to be that sacrifice, innit? Yeah. To show people, like, okay, you can't really say nothing, like,
I've got down from the UK Parliament website also. The Emergency Powers Act of 1939, which was passed just before the outbreak of World War II. The main points is that this law act, this law act allows the government to pass defense regulations and cover a huge range of activities from seizing property, entering premises, to amending enactments. This meant that the act allowed the government to bypass the existing laws, and it's still in existence today. For example, it allowed the government to carry out arrests which would not be legal during peacetime, and even give the death penalty for crimes such as breaking through roadblocks and looting.
That's where Revelation 24 comes in.
And they already set the precedent that if someone is deemed because guess what now? Peep the game, right? So if they turn EDL into a terrorist organization, what is EDL? It's a bunch of people that's basically rioting for change within the UK. If they deem them a terrorist, okay, boom. Shamima Begum. I mean, the 15-year-old 4'8" Bangladeshi girl from East Ham who decided to travel all the way across Europe to go join ISIS and become an ISIS wife. Because that's what 15-year-old 4'8" Bangladeshi girl born in England from London. Why not? Why not? Like, exactly. That sounds reasonable. I've met a whole bunch of them, and I could tell you that's exactly what a 15-year-old little flipping Bangladeshi girl that's about this big and weighs flipping the same as my trainers is going to decide to go all the way across Europe illegally to get to Syria to join a war encampment with some random dons. That's just not going to make sense. It makes sense, especially when you have an admitted MI5 agent that was helping her get there. But cool. She went there and did that. All she did was go and lay on her back apparently, and got thrust through with many sorrows, right? Did she have a U? I'm not. Did she have a U? She had a U, yeah. So she got pregnant even.
She come back pregnant
for one of the soldiers, and then she's a British citizen. So if all she's done was go over there in Syria, that was something that the ISIS was attacking Syria, right? So ISIS was attacking Syria. It wasn't attacking England. They weren't engaged in open warfare in England, right? What did they do? They said, "Oh, we'll strip you of your citizenship. You're not going to be a British citizen no more." Huh? No, wait. You should bring her back to Britain. And if she's committed a crime under British law, as a British citizen, she should be tried in a court of British law. And if she's found guilty, serve the time.
Yeah, because they did the same with the American guy, where they just executed him.
Anwar al-Awlaki.
Yeah.
They did a drone strike and executed him. No, he's an American citizen. You're supposed to arrest, man, if possible. If you can't arrest him and you kill him in the process of arrest, well, that's normal.
Yeah.
But you're not supposed to do drones, so you could do that on Bloods and Crips now then, because that's a crime. So if there's some gang members just there, then you can just drone strike them. Why arrest them? Why even try and arrest them?
They are actually terrorizing American citizens.
So do you see the point now where that they're throwing it out there? They're throwing it out there that these EDL guys are like terrorists. These groups terrorists. So basically, anyone that protests now can be labeled a terrorist. Anyone that comes against what the government's saying or what the government wants.
That's why they're letting them do them little outbursts, so the police ain't really doing anything. They're letting them even attack police. The police ain't retaliating. So when it comes down to it, they're gonna give more laws with freedom to the police.
And you could shoot to kill a terrorist.
That's what it is.
You could shoot to kill a terrorist, right?
Yeah. Because policemen's lives being put at risk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
they're being defunded. So there's not a lot of them anymore. So now we have to militarize them.
Apparently in Israel, you could anal rape a terrorist.
That's mad. And Trump's already said it, man, in his manifesto. When he gets in there, he said any rioters, he's got the laws there on the books. They're going to give more, credence to the police to basically wipe rioters out, but by lethal force if they have to.
Because if I can add up, a lot of these Dems voted supposedly to defund the police. And it's just like, what That
Because
doesn't
at
make sense.
that time crime was so called low. But now crime's all over.
Yeah, because that was another
Police is not
manipulation.
popular at the time, man.
They use this whole BLM as if oh, the police are bad.
Yeah.
They're bad people.
Yeah.
Yeah, these fucking idiots. Why would you defund the police, man? That's the only thing keeping
Law
our people
and
from
order.
the for real.
Order.
So it's
There
gonna
you go.
it's gonna get militarized, man.
Yeah,
That's basically what's gonna happen.
finish off the mark there, right there. Yeah, they're gonna listen. That's what we're trying to tell you, man. This thing is all being set up to bring death and destruction that we read about in 2 Corinthians 15. Someone might as well hold that as well. Hold on. Finish that mark of the beast right there.
We start again. 16. Revelation 13:16. And he causes all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their forehead.
Right, the right hand or in the forehead. Now they might the right hand, so that means you can get it in your left. No, man, it's a vision, man. Like, listen, if I just look, catch, bro. See, you know what I'm saying?
And
If usually like your hand, right? If you're right-handed, yeah, the reason you're right-handed is because you do everything with your right hand. It's your dexterity.
yeah, that's the strongest.
So if usually, for instance, if you go to shake someone's hand, you normally go, yeah. Why do you do that? Why don't you go? Why don't you do that? You never feel awkward.
Yeah.
A left-handed person wants to do it with their left hand,
Yeah.
but they might be forced to do it. Oh, this guy came to me with right hand, so I've got to do it. If someone throws something at you and you had the choice of two hands, you're gonna use your right hand.
Even when you're throwing something, you're gonna use your power. hand.
Most men, where do they put their wallet?
Yeah,
The
right.
left. You put it in your left pocket or your right pocket? Right. You put in your gun. Where are you gonna put your gun?
You usually put
On
it
the right hand side if you're right. You ain't gonna put the gun here. It's weird. If I put my wallet here in my left pocket, sometimes you might be in a rush and you put it there. You're like, oh,
lose it.
and it's like, oh fuck, man. It's awkward as hell. The reality of the situation is that majority of people in the earth are right-handed. So most things in society are actually set up ergonomically. I guess a good example, when you use the underground, just the tap
It's on your
is
right.
always on your right. Always.
Even the machines, the way they're like.
When you pay the pay machines, the payment will always be on your right.
Yep.
It's never really designed for lefties. It's always for right. So
They're minority.
lefties always have it
Yeah.
awkward. Yeah. Lefties always have to do things in an awkward way.
Even how they write something, you see how they write backwards?
Hey, we need to stop getting on the left. So the point is, if you saw a vision, right, of people coming forward and they said, put your hand forward to receive a chip. Most people are going to put their right hand forward. If it's going to be something you're going to be tapping and doing. When you open your car, how many men walk up to their car door, yeah, and use your left hand to put the key in the door? No, you use your right hand. You even use your right hand to open the door, if you can. You don't really want to use your left for shit. That's why it's your weak hand. Why weak hand? You know what I'm saying, yeah? This is just the reality of the vision. He saw a vision of people receiving the mark.
The vision's supposed to portray something, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
He's not going to give every example of these people going there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
How long are we going to wait until we get a left-handed person to come up there? You know what I mean? You know, I'm showing you.
You know what Esau doing being the devil? Every time you see him showcasing people getting chipped, they're always getting it in their left hand. You ever notice that?
No,
The majority of times people are getting chipped. Like, and you know when Esau's chipping someone, and so you know obviously the showcase, they'll put it in the left just for you idiots out there that'll be like, okay, well it's not the mark because it's in his no. The scriptures say if he receive it in his hand.
It's true.
Revelation 14:9, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb.
So let me ask you a question. Would it be ergonomic here for you to receive the chip in your left butt cheek? Knowing that the chip is actually for something, and that's what people don't realize, the chip is going to be for usage, to use, to pay, to access, right? Would you put the chip in your left kneecap? So why are we even having this discussion? It's only scoffers. I say, okay, it's a loophole. So if I get the chip in my right shoulder, is it okay? All right, get it there then. Do it. Listen, I ain't even gonna argue with you, bro. Just get it in your right butt cheek, and maybe you'll be okay. Okay.
I've got it here. I've got it here. The plural one, hands. Revelations 20:4. And I saw thrones, and they that sat upon them, and judgment was given unto them. And I saw the souls of them that were beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shai, and for the word of the Most High, and neither received, not so slap it, and which had not worshipped the beast, neither his image, neither had received his mark upon their foreheads or in their hands.
So some people are gonna get it in their left hand, some people are gonna get it in their right hand. But the point is you've received the mark. Like, let's not play these games.
And you're not going to be able to just pop it out either.
Well,
The Lord's going to make you leave it in your skin so he can destroy you.
that's tempting the Lord.
Yeah.
You
Why
playing
you
games is
tempting the Lord?
you trying to tempt the Lord.
I'm going to get the chip and then pop it out in the last second.
Well, first of all, it said if you receive the mark, so that's
done.
ridiculous. Once you've received the mark, you can't go back on it. You've chosen your side anyway.
Just like with the stabbing jab, those people that took those vaccines, they could have just got, yeah, I want to get it out of you. Like, you took it, that's it. You're
But
done.
at the end of the day, listen, when you receive that mark, you've committed, first of all, you've made an oath.
Yeah.
You've committed a blood
oath.
covenant
Yeah.
with that. Secondly, you have confirmed your idolatry.
Yeah.
And the Lord told you not to do it. The reason you're taking the mark is because you worship Esau.
It's the same thing in a Maccabee. You couldn't have the pork in your mouth and then spit it. No, you chose it.
You've done that,
You
yeah.
chose- Even
Oh wait, even when he came with the javelin, I spit it out. I didn't swallow. Look, you know what I mean? It's crazy.
yeah, but even to the end that you had the old man Eliezer, where he was like, look, I'm not even gonna pretend that I'm eating. Right, so you know that, but that's faith. But these guys,
What does that show you?
That means a certain man.
What were we talking about the whole time?
right, yeah.
What were we talking about the whole time? Yeah, I remember. You know what? I'm glad you mentioned that, because that I was thinking about that before. That's an example of a conspiracy and an orchestrated event. Because the people that seen him do it, if he'd have just went and ate the pork, they wouldn't have known that there was an arrangement made for him to do that, where he was going to be rewarded for doing it. They would have just seen him doing it and think, oh, okay, it's cool. And if he fake ate it, they also wouldn't have known that he fake ate it. So what does that show you? That back then Esau knew how to do psyops. It was a psyop. It was a staged event. Look, we're gonna do a staged event. You're gonna go and you're gonna pretend to eat this pork, but we want them to think you ate it.
Yeah.
That's exactly what we've been talking about, and that was all the way back there.
You ain't breaking the law, you know, you're holding law, but we're gonna get what we want out of the people.
And it was
Just like they could do events where go and you're gonna slap Jada Pinkett.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna take this from you, but then you're gonna be doing a film like six months later.
And then when the award.
Yeah.
Right,
Keep my wife's name. Oh, come on, man. Y'all don't know that this dude's a good actor.
Hollywood actors for no reason.
The hell, it's all an act, man.
That like, because you had a lot of Jakes. It's even in that J. Cole song, man, about marriage, like Jada and Will. Whereas that destroyed Jake's image of oh, so we can't actually have a family.
Right. It's all set up. All that
Exactly.
round the red
They
table.
went through the best of us.
Exactly.
The entanglement fucking episode. Yeah, I mean, come on.
Embarrassing time, man.
He just come on. He just sat there and well, come on.
I thought the second Ezra 16 and 68. For behold, the burning wrath of a great multitude is kindled over you, and they shall take away certain of you and feed you, being idle with things offered unto idols. And they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and had in reproach and trodden under foot.
They're gonna consent. But a lot of people, they're gonna be in such a confused and emotional and desperate state that when they're offered that solution or threatened with that solution, they're gonna cave in, because again, their mindset isn't the right mindset of the events. They're caught up in the false story, and so they're gonna just follow it through. Whereas if you're set up in with the scriptures, you already know what's happening. You're like, yeah, this is all bullshit.
Outside looking in.
Whatever happens, I ain't taking no chip.
Yeah, man.
Whereas these men are not thinking right now. These Christians are not thinking about all they're thinking about is Trump and Messiah and what's wrong with these guys? And the Dems are on. They're all thinking about trans kind of and black. Get the black. All this foolishness, man. all debating about whether Kamala Harris is black or not. First of all, who cares? Even if she was black, what difference does that make? If they got a straight up dark skinned Wesley Snipes dude and put him in a position to become president, do you not understand? It makes no fucking difference. Dude, your whole premise is already dumb. You're wasting time. Okay, she's black or she's not black, but who does she work for?
Gender's the same.
Your genders is going to be the same, but you see, they're bogging you down into these meaningless flipping arguments that keep your mind away from seeing what the reality is. So when the hell breaks loose, you do some stupid shit. But if you'd listen to us, you'd already know, like, to hell with all of them, and stick with your Howard Shire, and we're good.
Also shows.
I was gonna say, a so-called black person that could be actually for you would never get close enough to the seat.
Yeah.
Never get close enough.
The only way, listen, we've always saying for years, man, you go up the ranks in Eastern society when they have something on you.
Yeah. You have to be.
They have to have something on you. That's how they keep control.
Yeah.
They don't allow people to get into positions where you can't control them, because that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's it's like having if I'm running a theater, right? I have to be able to control my characters. I can't have man just going out there and saying random lines and this man turning up on set where he wants. It all has to be controlled, right? You need to come in at this point, you need to say what you need to say, but I have to control the characters. So yeah, if you go get up in the police department, then you gonna probably have to have some infractions against you that they could be like, yo, you know, we don't treat you nice, but if you try and double cross us, we know about that cocaine that you planted on so and so, or we know about them. The biggest one they like to do is them underage girls.
Yeah, they always got to compromise.
Underage girls, man.
They even got that term compromise, which is like a Russian term. K with a K. Compromise.
The underage girls, or some murder that's happened that you're implicated in,
some car crash,
or some other shit, and now you're in now. That's what the gangs do, right? They make you go do something so that now you're in. So
you can't come out now, man.
Who did the gang get it from? They got it from Esau.
So the gangs are part of the fraternity too.
A lot of those gangs that terrorize the Jake are weak, and they push that no snitch in they're cooperating at the government.
But Cartel is not. He's the number one snitch in Jamaica.
And again, what is that? They use that's fear. They use fear to control you.
Yeah. Don't be surprised.
Not love.
Don't be surprised they come out cartels handling something.
Kamala Harris, right? You don't make, like we said about, you don't become a district attorney. That's the position where you're the ultimate gatekeeper of the court system, because you decide whether a case is tried or not. You decide that. You decide how it's tried. You decide you could maneuver things to make a man get away with things. So that's a very important position, the district attorney. You think they let a crusader in there? You think they're gonna let someone in there that wants to put all the pedophiles in prison no matter what? That wants to put all the rich man doing all? No, they want the guy that, listen, Johnny, there's a case coming up. You know, he got caught on a little thing. Listen, we need you to just make that go away. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry, we'll hold you down. You do what you're doing. We'll give you another political decision. Or you want to make superintendent in the police force? Listen, we need to turn a blind eye to these trafficked women that just got found. Make sure no officers, or keep the officers away from that area. We've got an operation going on down. That's how the thing works, man. Nate's a detective.
I was about to say, Nate knows well about that system because he's been in that blue system. He knows well about that blue secret system of societies and all that. He's a Mason basically. Because he took the oath to be a detective. So he's been up in them ranks, man.
It's Sirach chapter 10 verse 2. As the judge of the people is himself, so are his officers. Right? They're of the same ilk, man. You know, they're all wicked. They're all wicked and done wickedness, man. And they all know each other, what they've done.
They go along to get along, man. They all got it. So that's what I'm saying. When you see these guys speaking out, because they've been allowed to speak out, they're saying you can play that role, but say exactly what we tell you to say. That's why they'll only ever go so far. And you're like, well, why are you not saying everything? Why are you not going? Why are you not? Because he's part of the thing. They can't let you go too far, because if they go too far, too much comes out, then it's a problem.
That's why Alex Jones be like the goblins.
Alex Jones is the gatekeeper.
The gatekeeper. It's not like he don't know. We know he must know.
Yeah, of course. We know they know. They'll be gatekeeping. They won't say what needs to be said. They'll only go, just like Trump was draining the swamp, but he never gave no details. You never get no details about anything.
And a lot of these large companies are like a lot of these politicians all famous for the CEOs of these large companies because they're the ones that fund their campaigns in those smoke and mirrors. And you'll get like daughters of like a CEO that becomes an advisor to a politician, and that's how they play it, man. They keep them in the
They got different levels of handlers and all these different things. You know what I mean?
Major corruption.
Yeah, these people are on strings, man. Even a lot of these footballers, man. If you want to become a mainstream superstar, that people are influencing you, then the machine get behind you. You got to take that oath, and they got to have shit on you too, because you are a major influencer. You could get on a camera and gather law. You could say some crazy shit. So they got to have you under control. So when you see a guy like Bellingham,
I knew it. I was waiting for it.
Satan, Judas Bellingham, he's already juiced in with the Illuminati. That's why they're pushing him heavy, and they had him walking on water and all that demonic. Oh, you didn't see that? Yeah, there's an advert. The new Adidas advert is him on the phone, and he's walking on his pool. So they've already depicted him like he's the Messiah.
They already treat football like it's a religion. People look at that football like it's a god.
Yeah.
But that's why all the little pundits have been told, yes, every interview, suck him off.
Yeah.
Even if he had the shittest game, they're like, yeah, like, dude, he's so great. Did you see what he did? I'm like, gaslighting, man. Like, yo, this guy's shit. Like, what are you talking about? Because the machine is behind him.
Yeah. And but for the first time, they keep talking about us parents. I'm just like, they call them the England's favorite son. Dude, but it's because he's got a so-called white dad and a staunch-looking Evite as a mum. And
no way. And they're probably, and the dad's probably some Mason.
Yeah.
That's how the thing works, man. A lot of these guys as well, their parents are in the thing, so they pick the children of people who are already in the cult to play certain roles. That's when you find out, okay, his dad was a Mason. Like Gary Neville was one of them. It was known Gary Neville's dad was a Mason already. Where's Gary now? After his football career at United, he's at Sky.
Even Tony Yayo, he used to take it to a whole different genre of music, like, you know, the hip hop thing.
They're all related, and
but Tony Yayo's dad was a Mason.
Yeah, of course. That's how they rather use the children of people who are already in the cult because it's easier to control.
Yeah, because the dad's gonna get your son. I've done it too. It's okay.
Yeah, well, they can trauma-based train them from abuse them from since they were children. So they're basically Manchurian fucking candidates, man. You know what I mean?
But yeah, your Taylor Swift,
the Disney kids. You don't just become a Disney kid. You've been handpicked. Your parents are probably part of a coven already, and they say, okay, we're gonna use this child to do this, just like Drake.
Yeah, Drake.
Go on,
Justin. Yeah, I was gonna get this earlier on. It says Hosea 4:6 says, "My people are destroyed for lack of knowledge, because thou hast rejected knowledge. I will also reject thee, that thou shalt be no priest to me, seeing thou hast forgotten the law of thy God. I will also forget thy children."
Right. The simple things of these scriptures are helping to unlock all the deceptions in this world. But because Jake don't want to listen to the prophets and don't want to listen to the scriptures, that's why they're out there in Esau's world. And Esau's world, I'll be honest with you, is a bag of confusion. You're gonna get messed up if you go out there in the world without being armed with the spirit of the Lord. You're gonna be twisted. Esau's gonna have you thinking you're fighting against him and you're working for him. It's crazy. Esau will have you all twisted up, fighting and voting against your own interests, doing all kind of crazy stuff. Cutting off your nose to spite your face. Esau will have you do it.
He was behind the whole thing all along.
Yeah, like the Black Panthers. You know, Martin Luther King.
Yeah. And that's a hard one. I remember telling, you get these people that are so-called awake or whatever. I remember telling bro, it's like Malcolm and Martin were in the same bloody team.
Opposites attract, isn't it? You know what I'm saying?
But it's what you call, that's what because if you've got a leader, you can control those people. Right? But when it's leaderless, you get problems.
Well, you might get a real.
Yeah.
You might, and that's why we're gonna go back into these Israelite camps. They have to have these little COINTELPRO camps to try and funnel people into. Otherwise, it will just be us. Otherwise, it will just be us. Like, and they'll be like, okay, we're gonna roll with this. No, we need to have this IUIC set up and this ISUPK set up, the gatekeep, man. And then at least, they can learn their Israelites. But then they'll take the chip, so it's all good. As did we finish on the chip? Let's finish that off. So we're going to
that's what I was going to say. Going back to Nate, because that's why it throws up them them hand gestures. Because he's an insider, man.
Yep.
He's been on that loophole, the wall, and he knows what side he's playing for,
And he-
what team
Yeah,
he's playing
and he's
for.
got your congregation worshiping him.
Yeah, and that's why he goes down on
Cult
these
of personality.
Christian blitzes and all this bullshit. He went to the church the other day to talk to a grandma pastor. Like, how you gonna convert some grandma pastor, man?
Old bottle.
Yeah. Then they go on these Christian blitz tours. They do these stupid marches. You're marching for a nigga woman that was falling for Jesus Christ and got shot in the face.
Yeah, well, that's
Why
not
are
our
you
job, man.
marching for some the two birds, man?
But that's not our job to be protesting and marching. Our job is to teach the word. Like, what are these men doing? But again, that sounds like a Black Panther thing. That sounds like Edomite came up with that script. You know what I'm saying? You're all marching in your garments and your little purple uniforms. And if we want to, you know, because they know this truth is out there. So if it's already out there, we'll have our agents be at the forefront. But that ain't gonna work anyway because the elect are still gonna be sealed.
Is that right? Good. I will bet you because you mentioned gates now. It says Matthew 7:13. Enter ye in at the straight gate, for wide is the gate and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat.
Right, the way of falsehood and the way of the world. Like I've talked to guys. Listen, I talked to Jake the other day, man. He's one of them Islamist guys. Yeah, Muslim, and he was talking some sense, but he's lost in that source.
Yeah.
He ain't coming out of that. He's finished.
Yeah.
Man think because it's easy to get into something and you think you got the truth, but you ain't got the truth. You got a part of the truth. You got a little bit of truth, but that lie that you're holding on to is gonna get you destroyed.
Leaven the whole lot.
Little leaven left the whole lump, man. You got all these jakes. In America, the Nation of Islam is like that Elijah Muhammad thing. That's some craziness like them man are into. He's just walk them into that, and then guess what? That's all occultism anyway. Just like the whole Black on Consciousness movement is all Masonic occultists setting up. So if you look at Polite, for instance, Polite came up under who? Malachi York. Malachi York is just another occultist. So that whole Black on Consciousness movement from Egyptology and all that, they're all agents that are set up to induct Jake into the occult under the guise of we're going against. We're against.
It's pro-Black.
It's pro-Black. But what they don't understand is all them guys are going to the lodge. All them men are going to the lodge. They're occultists. Yeah, Polite is an occultist.
Them man are being implicated with being pedophiles.
Yeah, that's why Polite got into it because that's what he has to do. He has to do those things like sleeping with little girls, and that's why he could.
And in the end, they cut his cord.
Oh, because they always
He was doing too much, probably. That's why. Yeah.
African butter.
Yeah, Africa butter.
That guy still ain't gone to jail. He's been raping kids from 6 to 8.
That's crazy.
You never see no time in jail, man. It shows you that they're all been initiated. They all like compromised intel, man.
And Matthew 24, verse 24. For there shall arise false messiahs and false prophets, and shall show great signs and wonders, and so much that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect.
Right, and the latest false messiah that Jake seems to be flocking to is Trump. You really think like, oh yeah, like I'm onto something because yes, for the whole time since they started doing racial politics, the Dems have been abusing Jake's vote, so to speak, and using race to say, oh, if you're Black, you should vote for the Dems and all this stuff. Right? And now Jake's found out about that, you want to go vote for the flipping Republicans. No, that doesn't mean the Republicans are good.
Exactly.
It just means you were dumb, like, to vote for the Dems. But you're also going to be dumb for switching over to the other side. Because neither side has done anything for you.
Yeah.
Because when Bush was in power, what did he do for you? He's a Republican.
He gave you the Patriot.
They're acting like, oh, we never gave the Republicans a chance. The Republicans, they've been in power. What did they do for you? So no one's going to do nothing for you, but they think they're up. I see what they're trying to do. They're trying to manipulate me into voting for Harris. No, they've allowed you to see that because now they want you to go over to Trump.
Can't see it's a game.
Can't you see they're allowing you to see the game they've been playing this whole time so that they play another game on you by getting you to switch over? Good.
Deuteronomy 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemy.
And let me say something about this, because we were going to talk about these oppressed ones. These Edomites are so oppressed, and they're the victims of, the Black people. We're victimizing them. You are the real victimizers, more than the elites, right? Let me tell you one thing. There weren't no elites on them boats, you know. Let me tell you one thing for sure. There weren't no Rothschilds on no damn boat. Like, yeah. Rothschild don't listen. The Rothschild be chilling in suites with incense burning and sway chairs, and they still do that to this day. The majority of the physical violence and oppression was always carried out by the average everyday Edomite. The lynchings, ain't no Rothschild coming down out of his estate to go to no lynching. The lynchings was the mob. It was the common man. You common Edomites, right? You are not innocent in any way, and you are not the victim. You are actually the ones, the pit bulls that have been getting at Jake the whole time. On them slave ships, it was common Edomites working as sailors, raping the women, raping the men, chucking man overboard. There weren't no elites. The owner of the ship wasn't on the ship.
Because if I could say ship back then, shipping was you could lose your life. Exactly.
Could be something dangerous.
Exactly. You get your minions. That's what the sailors do.
Apostle Ramlov, brothers already knew this, but he put out the information that most of the conquistadors and the Puritans and they're all so-called Jewish, man. They're all the slave owners of the ships, they're all business owners, they were Jews, man.
Yeah.
Like you fast forward today, the cases like Stephen Lawrence, but that was
the common.
They didn't have their hand in
You
that.
ain't gonna run into no aristocrats and he's gonna, hey, nigga.
They got
Nigger, it ain't gonna be no aristocrat. It's always the low level, like when Jake came to London and we're getting chased down by skinheads, them skinheads weren't aristocrats. No, the aristocrats, they're the ones systemically working the society and thing. But the actual man that down on the ground level that will kick you up in your face and do madness to you is these average everyday Edomites. So let's not play all these games. You guys are not victims, or we were just here by ourselves doing nothing, and now we're the oppressed. An aristocrat sweating.
Hey, you don't sweat, bro.
I was gonna say, I was with my nan earlier on, and she was watching the Olympics, and there was that dressage, and I'm just like, bro, you get people that legit all their life they just work playing with horses, training horses. That's what an aristocrat does.
Yeah, they're not chasing Jake around.
They're not workers to do.
Exactly. They're living the finer things in life.
They look down upon things.
But now, but these are innocent Edomites that never hurt no one ever in history, and now they're just being oppressed. They're victims.
So their forefathers benefit from our down.
Exactly.
You down on our down.
You just expect reaping what you sow, man.
Yeah, you are the ultimate people that you have always been the violators. The guys that they sent over to the Americas weren't the aristocrats. The man that was going over there and killing the Native American Indians was all the lower level Edomites that would go over there and be fodder for the warfare. The aristocrats don't put themselves on the front line for nothing. So it's always been you. You are the forefront of the oppression on the other nations. Now you want to be the victim.
In the face of oppression.
Go on now. I'm glad you mentioned the ships because I was thinking about that. That was really acting like there's some innocent people, and now the world just hates us and it's oppression. No one ain't even doing nothing to you, really. Nobody's doing anything to you, devils, man. You really fucking each other up, like. Jake ain't going out. Yeah, we're looking for an Edomite. We're looking for some white.
They say they're taking the job. You don't want to work. Exactly. You don't actually want to work,
bro. How many? So what these Edomites are telling me that Jake goes out on a Friday night looking for white people to beat up. That was you. You see how the KKK used to come around and terrorize? Yeah. So is Jake doing that? Jake just rolling up on ER. There's no white people houses right there. Drag them out of their house or something. What are you talking about, man?
Going on national tours.
If that was true, why are Edomites moving into some of the worst neighborhoods in London?
Because they're not worried about it.
Exactly, because he saw deep down, and I'll be honest, this nigga was out of step to say this, but these Edomites know they're safe around JD. They know they're safe. The guy who fuck I'll say it.
Yeah, but it's true. It's true. Jake, the average Jake isn't walking around thinking, I'm gonna go fuck some white person. Yeah, that is not true. This is not. No, but you Edomites will think like that.
Neither do they run a system to oppress you in any other way.
I'll tell you this: like the Edomite is more safe going into a Jake neighborhood than a Jake is going into one of them grimy little Edomite neighborhoods, man. So them man will just, nigga, what you doing around here?
I see it firsthand in Hackney.
Yeah.
You got Stafford Hill, you got those grimy niggas, you got the small hats that will walk through that estate perfectly fine, midnight. Yeah, they're running, playing around the swing.
They said
Let
recently-
Jake come
Why is the white genocide?
They said East London's become the most popular state for like for retail and
Yeah.
it's like become like
No, these Edomites are bullshitters, man. You're not the victim. We're the victims. The Israelites are the victims, and you are the villain. You're the villain, man. Listen, I've lived in a so-called black country, and I can promise you this: I never seen a so-called white person get abused for being white. Never.
You're accepted.
It wasn't even a thing, bro. Even in the school, and you know, kids are normally just fucked up anyway, right? I promise you, I remember there was one white boy, which he was basically man trashing it. Man, talk like us, walk like us, all that. I don't know if it was Jake, but he was there, innit? He was born there, right? I'd never seen him get bullied by no one because he's a white boy. Anyone would mention the fact, yeah, he's a white boy. One white boy moved to my class. His name was Chris. I remember he moved from America to bro, just play cricket. Yo, Chris, come play cricket. I never once sees anyone go treat him bad or say anything to him. But when I moved to England, I'll be walking down the road. Someone's going past in a car. Hey, Paquet. I was like, what? Like, bro, I'm telling you, bro. All these brothers can tell you that. This brother, bro, when I moved to England and I was living among so-called white people, I faced racism on a daily basis.
Yeah.
Mans won't let you in the yard. Like you're with man, and you turn up to man's yard, and everyone else can go in the yard except you. Everyone else can go in the yard, and oh, no, you can't come in. My parents said you can't come in. Why was that? Do you know what I mean? I got jumped by a whole football team. Like,
walking in the street, this was the boat.
walking the street, man, will throw bottles at you, man, to try to punch you up. And the worst thing about it is the generation before me that was here had it even worse. When you hear some of the stories from like them older man of how they man had to walk and have weapons on them because Edomites would just come in groups and just fuck your shit up. The police will come, grab you up and just make up a crime and put you in jail. That's the thing that they would do. The sus laws and all that. And then they want to turn around now and then act like they're the victims. They're being oppressed. That's not happening to you. Get out of here.
They had to separate toilets for us and shit like that. Yeah, that's stupid shit.
Even just right now, as we're speaking, in Manchester, it's probably another stage situation, but you've got a situation where allegedly some Edomite threw some tear gas at a Jake. He threw it back at them, and then they rushed him, you know, in the middle of the field. Literally, allegedly now, it's published by the Daily Mail, and it's doing around. Let me quickly grab a few bits out of it. This is from the Daily Mail. Riots are broken out across the UK. They're giving the whole general overview. Let me quickly.
But that's why they chose children for the last of that. That's Stokes, yeah.
Emotion.
Yeah, and it's
They
really
always
stupid.
do.
But when the black youth got stabbed up by the white boy, there wasn't all this, so we need to protect the children. So,
Yeah.
fuck these Edomites, man.
And like as
Edomites was feeding our babies to alligators, bro. These men are like, this is why you're looking at it. You're like, you haven't begun to become the victim yet. You do not understand what it is to be oppressed. You're gonna find out.
Yeah.
You know you ain't been touched like that. Like, what's going on? About you're oppressed, like
Just being a bitch, man.
you're in a country where you're the majority and you're telling me that you're oppressed.
Now it's Islamophobia. All this bullshit, man.
What's he talking about?
It's all back to the same thing.
But this is what I say because they bombed some of the oldest Christian places of worship.
That
And,
man
and
never said nothing.
they never said anything. Vocab didn't say anything.
Just assholes, man. But this is where Esau's dangerous. Esau's most dangerous when he's playing the victim. That's what devils do. Evil people will never when people want to be evil, what they do is they find a way that they're victims to justify it. That's what people do, especially narcissists. A narcissist will always find an angle. Oh well, you did this to me, so that's why I did this. It's like, they're always gonna try and find a way to make you Native American Indians. You savages. You did this, so but bro, you came over and was taking their land, bro. No. But they did this, so that's why I had to chop the babies' heads off.
Mass genocide.
So you committed genocide. Yeah, but we're the victims because we just came over. So, well, yeah, no, you're not the victims, bro. Like, you've never been the victim.
This is like they just killed that guy in Palestine. The which put one of the so-called Hamas leaders. They killed 70 people in the process.
And the cameras are all there to watch them.
He threw a flare at him and he threw it back at the and then he run up on the police.
Yeah, but you know what? The thing is, yeah, I'm down for all that. Because I hate you Edomites here. So if you want to get, I'll be honest with you, yeah, I'll be down for that. Like, let's
It's gonna get like that. We're in that season, Micah 5 and 7.
When I see that, I get excited. I love the idea of throwing it down because I hate you Edomites with passion.
Exactly.
Like on a real level.
That is the one saying. It's gonna get to that point where we're just gonna start throwing down. The only thing is, the men of the law, we ain't gonna get involved in that. We're just gonna be on outside.
Hey, that's for the basis source.
This is
I don't know, man. Listen, man, I hate these Edomites. I'm telling you, man. And that's not even in my nature to be hateful. But these people are such demons, man. They're villainous people. Even at work. Have you noticed at work the Edomites are looking at you strange?
Of course.
Ever since this thing,
the news and all that.
even ever since this thing coming in news, and you walk in and Edomite act like they don't want to say hello. I'm like, yeah, you've been watching the news and I know what you think, innit? Yeah, but at the end of the day, guess what? I'm thinking the same fucking thing you are, because I fucking hate you. So when you start acting all that, we could go at it like straight away. Like, it's not a problem for me. I'm not gonna be like, oh mate, no, sorry mate. Oh no, mate, let's throw it down. Because
we're gonna bump heads. Right. We're gonna bump heads.
I'll just be honest, man. I'll really. That excites me, man. The thought of like 3 or 4 Edomites coming at me, like trying to, okay, let's do that because I've been waiting for that. Like, is that if that's what we're doing, then because we hate you, man. But we're not gonna instigate that. But I'm saying if they rolled up, man, if I'm just there,
it's gonna get to that. That's what I'm saying. It's gonna get
if we were here and they were like mutual combat law,
and the
we
thing
have
is,
the right to defend yourself.
yeah, let's have fun with it. But just know, as much hate as you're coming with, I'm coming with more hate.
and it's sanctioned by Yahweh Hashem.
There's going to come a time when the Lord said he's going to turn these fishes into hundreds. So we're going to bump heads anyway.
And that's how you Jake's supposed to be. A lot of you Jake don't hate Esau enough, man.
You hate your own people.
Maybe we need to start,
Well, but I got
a lot of you Jake don't hate Esau enough, and then Esau's hating you. No, you got to match the energy, man.
I was going to say, them Edomites are only brave because there was one Jake and about 50 of them.
That's another thing you notice about Esau. So, like, where I grew up, right, and this brother can attest, because he went from the same place, yeah? It's the Edomite spot, pure Edomites. And I've had all kind of crazy shit, like, happen to me there, like, with these damn devils. Adults, too. Adults will violate you, and you're a child, right? What happened was, man's bare racist, man's want to be all that stuff. When there's only a couple black men there. Yeah? Then when a few black men started moving in, all it means is a couple raw men to move in. All of a sudden, everyone's like, oh, you're all right, Mike. Mike. Oh, yeah, Mike. Yeah, good. That same man that was racist, you meet them and they'll be like, oh, how's it going, Mike? Yeah, Mike. Their whole energy changes because they don't have the majority number that they had before. So all of a sudden,
top them up.
Yeah, or when you top them up.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden they want to be, oh, I love black people. No, it's you're in a situation where you know you're gonna get your lip bust, yeah. So now you're trying to play like, oh, everything's nice and nice, yeah. And that's how these devils are.
And that's all these do. They want hidden racism. That's what they did. It's not overt anymore. It's all inside, repressed.
That's actually what I was gonna mention. Now, even like you get these so-called Democrat-loving, Jake loving Democrats, their whole thing is about your beneath. That's why we need to save.
That's why they're aborting your baby.
Yeah, that exactly. No, but they'll use finances as an justification. Oh, you're not financially able to have these children, so we're gonna tell you to kill these children.
We're gonna help the black women.
Exactly.
Now fuck these Edomites, man. That's a spirit you got to be in. That's
the
spirit. All of them, every single last one of them. If they're Edomite, your spirit should be of hate, especially all of them, man and woman. Man and woman.
I'll be honest, I'll play with Becky, but fuck Becky too. Becky's dangerous,
Clapped
man.
up. Yeah,
Becky's dangerous as hell because she knows
She's using you just like you're using
exactly.
her. Man. Fuck
Hey,
all
hey,
that.
she's subtle too.
That's it, because she knows her tears are the most powerful thing on this world, man.
When it suits her.
When it suits her.
But they'll
Exactly.
join in with the racism too.
Exactly.
They'll join in when, like I said, I grew up among Edomites, so I know exactly what they're like.
How they behave.
We know exactly what they're like.
Ecclesiasticus,
Money.
continue himself from 3. The rich man has done long and yet furthereth widow. The poor is long and he must entreat also.
Yeah, we always got to be the ones to like, say sorry and apologize and be cool. And we're not allowed to be the victim. Oh, you're not the victim. That was a long time ago. It's not a long time ago. We've been catching hell in this society for a very long time. In fact, even if you want to talk, let's talk about it. Like if you look at Jake in London and the way Jake are, that's all the result of social engineering. What about all the Jakes that they were putting it? First of all, when Jake was trying to form communities, they would split Jake up, right? They didn't do that to Elam and all that, but they did it to Jake, right? Split them up. Then they were taking Jake here, giving them so-called IQ tests, and then putting them in with the retards and all this kind of stuff, arresting them, putting them on criminal records. Like they constantly been trying to work against Jake in here.
Gone by houses.
Yeah, like get out of here, man. Don't be coming with this foolishness. Even in the workplace, like in the underground for the longest while, you weren't allowed to be a Jake and work at King's Cross.
Wow.
That's a fact. Look it up in the history. Like even when Jake was on the underground, there were certain stations they wouldn't allow Jake to work because the mans didn't want even a Jake be there helping them with the bags. They didn't want to see them. They didn't want to know about them. And it was only in recent history they started allowing black people to work there.
Yeah,
The hell with these devils.
yeah.
Hell with these devils, man.
I looked up this one article on Al Jazeera, not to say that we want the money, like, well, they're still going to go into captivity anyway, but like the research from Al Jazeera published in January said that the UK basically, it would cost the UK 24 trillion if just the UK alone if they were to pay reparations for slavery, but that would ultimately even destroy the country's infrastructure because they ain't got, like, ultimately, if they paid 24 trillion, the national debt and then the implication we're having the citizens.
Well, the Bible says, according to your substance shall the restitution be.
Right.
So ultimately, the Lord has declared that everything has to come to us.
Hey, the UK got its reasons why it can't pay, right? I understand that, right? They look the world reserve currency, but America's the world reserve currency. I don't give a shit back there. They can print the shit anyway. So 24 trillion.
Yeah, but guess what? The pay's supposed to be 24 trillion in value, not money. They don't have to print money. They should be giving man assets, man.
Yeah.
But that's all. It's all good because we're gonna take all the assets anyway.
Goes on to say, if thou be for his profit, he will use thee. But if thou have nothing, he will forsake thee.
When they needed Jake to come from the West Indies, not only to fight in the war, but to rebuild after the war, go and watch the videos and the propaganda they will put up about the West Indian man. Oh, the West Indian man, so valiant, so brave. Now, after the war, after the war, it all became negative. Yeah, they're just drug dealers, they're lazy. When they need you, they'll pump you up with all kind of, yeah, they're great, you're great. And then Jake was running to it. Oh, yes, the Queen is called. And they all run into it. Jake were hella patriotic when it comes to, that's what people don't realize. Jake never hated Esau. Even after all Esau did, them West Indian, like my grandparents' generation, they loved the Queen, bro.
West Africa,
They love the Queen. They were happy to come. Look at the pictures of the Windrush when they're coming off the boat. They were suited and booted. They couldn't wait to come to Britain and work. Then when they got here, they started putting them to live in holes on the ground and all kind of crazy shit. Then they started facing the racism. They're like, "Right, but man told me to come here." Giving man all the shitty jobs, and then when they were done with them, they took the jobs away. Had man on the unemployment. That's when you had the riots because of the way they were policing them and oppressing them.
Now they're saying they're illegals, you got to deport them.
Yeah, a whole bunch of the Windrush, they tried to deport them.
There's no paper. I was gonna say, weren't a lot of TFL jobs given to the Jakes that came over?
Nobody wanted to work them jobs.
But then now that they're high-paying jobs, these Edomites are gonna complain that it's Jake that has those jobs.
Listen, this Esau, if you go into the history of how Jake has been treated in London and all these places in the UK, it's madness what they did to our people, man. It's madness. But when they need you, they know how to sweet you up.
Yeah.
And then when they don't need you, then all the negativity comes in. Oh, you're lazy, you're drug dealers, you're this, that, you're that.
Yeah.
Oh,
If I can say, Zuko, that's what the scriptures talk about in Jeremiah 13:23, can the Ethiopian change his skin or the leopard his spots? Right? Because you get a lot of Jake that think Esau has changed. Esau hasn't changed. Although he may be like a dweeb like that, walking, he's still the devil.
Like, oh, look, Esau sees our value now. He accepts us now. That's not what's going on.
but we're the backbone of the NHS.
Yeah.
You show me a so-called West Indian that he ain't got at least 2 aunties, a grandmother, or their mother ain't been a nurse. I could tell you my grandmother was a nurse in the NHS. I can tell you that her sister was also a nurse. This brother say his mother.
Grandma.
No, that's mad.
Grandma,
No, that's crazy. Just look at that. Just random dons here, and it's like bare aunties, bare generations. Yeah. We're the backbone. That's why they said even we were at the most risk for the seating, because we're all the frontline services.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's like his one, but that's what Esau does. There's a saying: correlation is not causation, right? Just because those numbers look like it was, we'll say, but what's the actual cause? It's what the elders going into. That's why there's a picture of Bill Gates and on the table there is a book called Lying with Statistics, which is what Esau does all the time. Esau will lie with statistics all the time because statistics it's supposed to be true, right? But if you don't, empirical, right? But that's why it's always a thing of never trust the statistics where you don't know the raw numbers, right? Never trust statistics where you don't know the sources of getting that number, right? For instance, they'll talk about like single parent household, which to the common man just means, well, there's not a dad in the house or something like that. But Esau will have actual things of a single parent household has to meet these 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah, it could be there's a dad in the house, but they're not married.
Exactly.
Yeah. They know how to twist things around, innit? So a lot of people are just not married, but they're together.
Yeah.
And all these sensors, man. I ain't never seen a sensor in my fucking life. Asking me to be asking all these questions, getting these numbers from where?
Yeah.
I've never received one, so I've been just fucking making up numbers, bro.
Yeah, but none of us can go out and independently verify.
But you see,
I haven't seen one.
these devils, man, when they're ready, they want to paint Jake like we're good for nothing, and we're a problem, and we're bringing the society down. We built the society up, and yes, there are negative elements to Jake, but that negative element of Jake isn't all Jake. Every Jake is not no drug dealer. That's the lie. Every Jake ain't a drug dealer and every Jake ain't a criminal. The vast majority of Jake are just working class men that are mechanics like my dad, bricklayers like certain other brothers here, that bricklayers, mechanics, carpenters, plumbers, bus drivers.
A lot of driving jobs.
Yeah. Jacob been out here working, and the further you go back in the generations, that's all that man wanted to do. Them man love to work. Listen, them man love to work. Them generations before, them man will work. They love to bust sweat. And them man said, man, they're lazy. Get out.
But this is the thing. All this idea of getting the ice and living faster, that's the product of the JOOs. Let's be truthfully told, man. That was a culture given to our people.
And that's a new thing. That's a new thing, man.
Yeah, because
they didn't want to be a cab driver. They didn't want to be a bus driver. They wanted to live that fast life. They didn't want to fucking ice.
And again, it's really always a minority. It's a very small minority, man. Most Jake are out there working and doing their thing, right? Yeah. But Jake, Esau act like we're bringing the society down. That's not true.
On what you're saying, because we've touched on this before about how he will try to be just be a drug dealer, you get the fast cars and whatever have you. You could have just learned how to write some software, especially in the States. And look at some of those states, those like you get mad. In like you get actual millionaire software developers. I got like a guy who's a millionaire from writing software. Something like you could have just gone and done and learned in your bedroom.
But these J's that are talking about that fast life stuff are lazy. They don't want to learn. That's hard work to do.
But again, it's really a minority. It's really a minority. But like I said, that's how Esau operates, so that he can push that to basically label. Okay, these people are a problem. But
make it byword and proverb.
We're the ones holding the society up.
And
if we were really that lazy, the society would just collapse. So the bus, there won't be no bus drivers. All the nurses wouldn't be working. And you don't say all the nurses are fucking working crazy hours, and they put a whole bruck up.
And they don't want to pay them.
And they don't want to pay them.
But Facebook and says, well, then the DEI aspect of it then makes the Edomites even worse on the job. Because here it is, you've come in on your genuine merit. Right, but diversity hire. Look, but these times you're better than all of them.
Better than it's crazy, man. Go on, let's carry on. Oh, Esau, man, he's scum.
That was systematic. I think about it. That whole DEI thing was systematically because Jake was now getting into those certain positions. But then now the Edomites around you,
as an excuse.
exactly. So it's no longer a thing of you are good at this job. It's now just that you're a diversity hire. Right? We work around. I was thinking about this in the week. So we work around you Edomites, man. We know who you're shit. You're incompetent.
Yeah.
Right? You just know how to follow. Well, the book says I have to have a what do they call that thing? A working group. Yeah. So we're gonna have a working group. The book says I have to have this, so we're going to have that. But you just follow a step-by-step guide, a template. Jake are the innovators, man.
Yeah,
that's
what outside of the framework and do it a better way.
Better and more functional, man.
Yeah. Bro, man's been doing that since slavery. Coming up with better ways to work, better ways to get things done. Man. All these inventions, man. But again, all that will be ignored, and Esau will just say, well, you guys are just dumb black Africans, and look at where you come from, mud huts and all this shit. You see them online, and you're like, you're low IQ. Have you seen yourself? The same man saying that we're like mud hut. You would only have a mud hut if it weren't for your elites. These motherfuckers low IQ.
Motherfuckers actually in the cage, running on all fours.
Bro, they're in caves now. Like I said, you go up the north, yeah. These men are out there on the Stella, like fucking cavemen on the streets. They're just cavemen with old Adidas, that same one Adidas tracksuit that you've got, and then Reebok classics.
So if I can say what the elders going into is proof that Esau can dictate where gets prosperity. And one of the things he has done is where Jake be, he has made it sure that those countries do not prosper by it. Because when you look at when they talk about Elizabeth line, people in the north actually pointed out Elizabeth line could have been Liverpool through to Manchester, but they don't want to do that. That's not in the government's desire. They just cancelled. They cancelled.
Yeah, the north is gonna die, man.
Right?
The north is gonna die. But good for them. Listen, good for you, because you devils, you apparently you got all the high IQ. So you should be able to sort it out for yourself anyway. Yeah, you figure out. Because you're so high IQ. But the north is crumbling into pieces, man.
On purpose.
How they figure out is all by violence. That's the only thing they know.
Yeah, the only thing they can do is start throwing bricks. But these are meant to be high IQ people. Yeah, all that shit. You ain't no high IQ people, man. You just low little monkeys, man. Go on,
if thou have anything, he will live with thee. Yeah, he will make thee bear, and he will not be sorry for it.
And that's what you Edomites have done in the earth.
Yeah.
You first of all, you're complaining about foreigners. You're the worst foreigner that's ever existed. You listen. They better not be no aliens. Listen. If any aliens are listening to this broadcast, you should already know that if an Edomite come to your planet, you need to eliminate them immediately. This is what we do know. Yeah, people always have violated people. That's a fact. We know that most people have had little problems here and there, and they might do a little thing here and there. But there is only one undisputed group of people on this planet who have violated every other people on the planet. He's pound for pound. You are the worst people to encounter. The minute an Edomite comes to your country, they're talking about, well, they come to the country, they don't integrate. Who did you integrate with?
You exterminated.
Did you integrate with the Native American Indians? Did you integrate into their culture? When you went over to the Americas, when you went to these places, you brought when the Spanish went over to Mexico, they brought their Spanish culture that they had over to Mexico. The way Mexico is today isn't Azteca. It's more Spanish in the way the language and everything that they do. But these men will be like, oh, they come, these immigrants, they come here, they don't integrate. You're the worst person for going to other people's lands and completely just changing them into you, changing their language, changing the name of their places. You're known for that. But then these same hypocrites are saying, oh, they come and they're not integrating. But they didn't change in your language. You're still speaking the language you want to speak. You can still eat your fish and chips. They didn't. What were you talking about?
We're gonna have a curry, mate.
You Edomites, right? You're the biggest hypocrites because your empire is the reason why all these people are here. If Britain didn't, these men are out here in a protest singing "Hail Britannia, Britannia rules the waves." Yeah, and that's why there's Elam here. Them Elam didn't start coming here until you conquered India and started bringing them over here to work. But then
and they left their marks there. Like you go to India, it looks exactly the same because it's like Ghana, India, for example. The markings are exactly the same because it's the same British colonial design that they took from one continent
but
to the other.
you got to integrate and you come here and these are.
They don't talk about the 2 to 4 million so-called East Indians that died in the partition of India. That was your doing. They like talking about
has 2.2 to 3 million Edomites in England been killed by these invading foreigners.
No.
So how are they the victims of anything?
It's Micah 2:1. Woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it because it's in the power of their hand. And they covet fields. They're always looking to take others, man. Take what other people have.
Yeah.
Right?
Because that's one of the things that they said about the whole Gaza thing. There's an oil field right off of the coast, you know, and then they want the oil and gas, and they want it.
No, you Edomites are the biggest criminals on the planet Earth, but you want to be the victims. It doesn't make no sense. No one ain't doing nothing to you. You have gone when you went to South Africa, you slaughtered those people, changed up everything. You renamed whole lands, whole borders. Elam comes and moves to Ilford and has a curry shop and driving around in a BMW, and all of a sudden it's an invasion. What? They're trying to take over England. No, they're not. Them men are just in Ilford driving up and down, and at night time they go down Ilford Lane trying to get some pussy. I mean, while their wives at home, what they at? They're not being, bro, these Elam ain't clear. We're gonna take over England. Like, what? Do you think
they just want to be?
They just want to get a BMW, bro. Them men are not concerned with that. What are you talking about? You the ones that would go there and be trying to take over and split the country and do all kind of crazy stuff. You did that. Mohammed and them men are not thinking about that.
What do you say?
They're trying to go Morocco.
Man in a shisha bar.
Yeah. Let's be real.
They call it when you because you would do something. What do they call it? Projection. Yeah, the projection.
Yeah, they project it, man. Yeah, man, these devils, man. Hey, you know that.
It says they covet fields and take them by violence and houses and take them away.
Since it's an invasion that's happening in the UK, so that means that these foreigners are they coming and just killing Edomites and taking their houses and taking their lands? Because they're like, oh, it's an invasion. It's an invasion. Yeah, they're here, and but. Like, what is it they're doing?
Supporting the economy.
Exactly.
No, they're all men, and but so are they all grouping up in the army and doing something? I mean, they hang around. They might hang around in a friend group, but so do you. The way they're making it look as if they're what you did, like go to countries and the conquist. They're going on like what the conquistadors did in Mexico.
They stabbed 3 children. That's what it takes.
They're killing our babies and raping our women and all that.
Oh, is that what they're doing? But no, you did that wholesale. You did that wholesale. For real. You are the one that does that. You did that.
When it's the land of Ham and then we got like Italy, Spain, France, England, carved it out. We're fighting each other over countries who wanted to big.
Change the whole, so many mulattoes created. How was that? You know what I mean? Like, what are you talking about, man?
And take them away. So they oppress a man and his house, even a man and his heritage. Like I said, they brought Christianity to the world and forced that on the people.
You're the real oppressor, man. And it's distasteful to watch you Edomites in America and in Britain and in France and all over Europe run around here trying to play the victim in the streets. Like somebody's really doing something to you.
But he's very good at not really speaking about his history. Because, for instance, he would say, yeah, we had the blacks in slavery. He won't really go into what he was doing.
Details he'll skip.
Yeah, he will skip the because the thing is, to be fair,
how bad he really was.
But exactly, because to be fair, people look at us as a strong people. So he's really boasting. Yeah, I had you in slavery. Say what?
We'll skip the 100 million Jakes that died in
Exactly.
the process.
They won't talk about the grotesque ways that he was just handling Jake. Man. You think about, for instance, the thing with the two horses, right? And it was split. Levi.
They got a
Yeah,
Levi
the
King.
Levi, yeah.
Even in Elam, there's accounts where they would strap Elamites to cannons and fire the cannons.
Now,
This is the thing.
You know what I mean?
This-
That's what he did when he went to no man's country. This guy's crazy, man.
being in slavery, being in service for another nation is one thing. The abuse that you did while you had it in that position is
They're the
fucking-
most abusive people there's ever been.
it's fucking disgusting.
yeah.
You have not received what you have given.
That's what Satan would do if there was a hell.
That's it.
But that was what you would do in hell, man.
Anally raping that Palestinian.
Wow. That's what Satan would be doing, man.
Like Oedipus.
Devils are something else, man. But at the end of the day, this is all precursor for you having your final moment. You're down to 1 HP, and you're gonna have that final lash out.
Lose it all.
And then you're gonna lose it all, and then you're gonna play the real. You see, the real victimization is when we get you in the kingdom. Then you're gonna know what real oppression is. You're gonna understand what real oppression is. What real victimization really is. Because you're gonna be a victim in the kingdom of heaven.
Grab this real quick. So Zechariah 1:15, I am very sore displeased with the heathen that are at ease, for I was but a little displeased, and they helped forward the affliction.
Yeah, the other nations, yeah, they've violated our people, and they're gonna get mashed up too. But you Edomites are gonna have a special place in hell. And when I say hell, I'm talking about here on earth. Because it's gonna be hell for you. You're gonna know what it truly feels like to be under the power of a people that hate and detest you.
Sir.
We're gonna work you to the bone. We're gonna make your life very uncomfortable. So you better enjoy the comforts that you have right now and the ability for you to even protest and talk a victim. Because I'm not having none of that protest in the kingdom either. I wish you would.
No voice.
Because this is gonna get worse for you.
I've got an article here saying on that topic about the Pentagon from Mail Online, US Home. It says Pentagon considers stripping 20 medals of honor recipients amid probe into Wounded Knee. It says in which soldiers slaughtered Native American women and children.
And then when you read about the Wounded Knee, right? The reason they justified what they did at Wounded Knee was the year before they lost the battle to the Native American Indians. But then why were they battling the Native American Indians? Why were the natives fighting? Because you invaded their land. This is the nature of the devil that we're dealing with, and that's the same thing you're seeing in Palestine now. They're going to focus on the staged event in October the 7th, which is really a military raid, right? And then use that to justify all kind of atrocities and ignoring the fact that, bro, why are you there in the first place? Like, what is the reason why these people are even fighting back against you? Is it because they just wake up in the morning one day, or is it because you have violated?
Been violent.
But this is Esau for you, man.
They're victim.
It's like you rolled in there in 1949.
Yeah, it was just empty, like,
You know,
and then these man came up out of the dirt like orcs or some shit, man.
It was
And what was that movie on that game, Gears of War? You know where the man came up out of the ground from under the ground and they started shooting him. You don't remember Gears of
I didn't
War?
play that.
On
I didn't have Xbox.
Gears of War was bad.
No, it was that bad.
That's the original code.
It's a good ass game, man.
and I was just because some of the imagery that was on Twitter and coming out of Gaza, man, that shit was horrific. That was actually, and once again, these are the same people. That's why I get pissed off about these Edomites, because they would like to portray themselves as we care about children. You had mans carrying their children in plastic bags, man.
Yeah, the head and
Their bodies,
Yeah.
body parts all dripping out.
It's crazy, man. And now to the point where people just completely desensitized to it.
But that's how they act like these men are doing them. They're attacking our women. Crazy.
Because you got to think as well, it's like they went through a winter in during that thing with no houses or whatever, and you got to now think about the smell, because certain they ain't got diggers to build and to pick those buildings up.
And there's blocking supplies.
Blocking supplies.
But they were blowing up refugee camps.
They set one up.
Yeah, they will block. They'll tell people, "Oh, it's gonna be safe on that road," and then on that road they bomb the road. And everyone just lets them do it.
Just the local residents are like, yeah, fuck it, don't use
Yeah.
no aid, bro.
They're in the Olympics right now.
Hey, but you got nations speaking against Turkey, Erdogan, who was saying, man, look, man, you might do something, man.
Yeah.
You know, you don't fucking stop. But this is the whole, because Turkey's like a Muslim nation, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they're meant to be part of. Well,
Yeah,
they're part of
Turkey is
EU.
like the Europeans that are not European.
Yeah, they're like the black sheep of the family
Yeah,
kind of thing,
yeah,
innit? So, but they're mentioned in the scriptures
Yeah.
about Russia and that, Ezekiel 38. So
Yeah.
they're going to turn.
Yeah, they're strategically important for America. That's
But
why I think
there's
they're
nukes there.
Yeah, right.
There's nukes
Oh,
in Turkey,
yeah,
I believe. Yeah,
Because I was,
some of the arsenals in Turkey, yeah.
because I feel like I remember that's what they said during the Cuban Missile Crisis. There was like that will be the president at the time apparently said that would be like if we had missiles in Turkey, and the general's like, "What's up, dude?"
I'm sure they got a arsenal on the Turkish supervision. So the Turkey there. Go on.
It's the book of Habakkuk 2 and 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him.
That's Esau. Esau, Edom, is just very disingenuous, very dishonest, very prideful, right? He's not fair. He doesn't keep the same energy. Hypocritical.
Yeah.
Hypocritical in his nature. He will omit information. He'll always be the victim, and he'll at the same time always be the good guy. He'll never be in the wrong. He'll never be the villain. That is the devil that we're dealing with. He's unfair. He will burn your house down and then turn around where you're living in ashes and say, well, look at you. You live in ashes anyway. It's like, yeah, because you burnt my house down. Monkey. You know what I mean? Like, this is the way this devil is. And it's in Habakkuk. Woe unto him that giveth unto his neighbor strong drink. We always say that the demonic and destroyed Negro that we see today is a product of the so-called white man social engineering. Because you have to remember that I don't care where you want to go to, pick any ghetto, go back 50, 60 years ago. It went like that. We are not inherently the way that they portray us to be. Oh, they see, like on Twitter, man, I love it, man. I'm watching it. Yeah, see, they're just animals. These are just animalistic people. Look, they so, bro, like, when you see a man walking around with his low batties and purple dress, his granddad wasn't like that. His granddad was dressed properly, more better than these people. With manners, good morning, and you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the way they want to make it look like the Negroes that are like that are totally just animalistic in nature. They never had no hand in social engineering.
That's our default mode.
Yeah, that's just our default.
And if they
mode.
don't end up like that, they're a bit better.
Yeah.
No, we are higher. We are a higher individual than those
like,
fucking degenerates.
You know, you didn't pump crack. You didn't pump crack into the neighborhood. You didn't like. You didn't do. You know, you didn't do nothing, and we just ended up like that. No, like you have a hand in the degeneration of Jake. I'm not giving Esau all the blame because obviously there's always accountability for yourself. But at the same time, we have to accept that when you see
You planted the seed, man.
you fostered that environment. You're the one, hip hop, all these things. You've driven everything into that area.
Purposely.
But then we have to ignore all that and act like you ain't got a hand in it all. You like to talk about, like the brother said, you will look at a country in West Africa and say, see, look, their country's fucked. Look at him, yeah. Look at him. It's like, but bro, you do realize that the way the country is, you have maintained it that way. You have a hand in it. You got the economic hitman, John Perkins, wrote a whole book about how you destroy these countries and keep them in the condition that they're in. And if they have any leader that wants to make them better, you will kill the leader. Because you want to keep them down and impoverished. You have a hand in it, but then you ignore that and just make it look like, see, look at him, he's fucking, and they want to turn, they're coming over here, they want to turn our country like it is over there. Actually, no, mate, it was you going over there that turned their country like it is over there. You prick.
Because that's why, for instance, I always remember when Apostle Rama did the video, he basically, the mini series, he had the know how to do better, right? Although they're heathens too, That's why you're seeing when Moab gets into these countries, and yeah, they got their underhanded things, but Moab is building railways. Moab is actually doing things that will so-called better that country, right? Whereas Esau, what has he done? In certain countries that are beneficial to him, he's allowed them to prosper. You look at like Japan, but Japan's strategically important and stuff like that. Right, but Esau just goes around the world. He needs a slave colony as well.
Yeah, the scripture says that weaken the nation.
That's it.
His thing is always about hampering people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Cutting your Achilles. He's always about keeping you weak so you can be strong. Because he's not strong by himself. It's the same as in if you're like in a race, but the only way you know everyone just trains and you go and run this race, you know you're gonna lose because you're just a weak punk. So you gotta go and put something in this one's drink and put something in this one's drink. I mean, you gotta cheat basically, and then when you win, say, "Oh, look, see, I'm just superior," and these man, look, they're just, they're just shit, knowing that you poison their bottles. Just come.
Like with the medical industry, you don't get West African doctors and that to come over here because they know that they're intelligent and have the capability to do the role. But then if you're like a normal citizen and you want to get a naturalization, if you ain't got a university degree, you got to pay 10 grand to take an English exam to prove that you can speak the language. But they'll get people from your same country to come and work in their institution.
And why is that? It's because of the money. A lot of times, it's true. The best of these countries are coming to the West and working in the West. If they were working in their own country, they would build up their own country. But the reason for that is the financial situation. They weaken these nations and their economies. So you could go back and live in Nigeria and be a doctor, but you're not going to get the same money as if you came to London and be a doctor. So man want to come to London instead. But if they didn't fuck up the whole currencies, man would just be like, well, I'll just stay at home and I'll build up my thing. Who wants to migrate?
And if you want to come here, like, I don't know but if you want to come here as a citizen, you got to then look at visas, pay for that, pay for to be educated because they don't recognize your qualifications back home. It's all.
Hey, listen, that's why Esau's gonna be the fourth world. We're gonna invent a new world. In the kingdom of heaven, there's gonna be a fourth world, and that's wherever the pit that we're gonna put Esau in. That's the fourth world right there. And let's see if your IQ gonna get you out of it.
Real quick. Even here in London as well, like in the 1960s and 70s, and there's documents and all books about it. How when Jake was moving here from the West Coast and the West Indies, they'll put Jake in Notting Hills and Brixton and Hackney and those kind of locations. And that's why they got mad tower blocks there because they were all Edomite owned, and they would even go to the point of making Jake live at the top, less desired, like the top floors of those buildings because they were less desired by Edomites. Making sure they wouldn't give them the lending that they needed to build up their settlements, and that's how you have what you have now, man. Scotland being what it is, Hackney,
Brixton and stuff like that. Esau needs those places. But think about certain places where for Esau they're just set colonies. With Thailand, or this, that, and the other. You got a slave colony over there in India. Not at times I'll be at work and they'll just be like, yeah, let's get the guys in India to do it. It's cheaper. It's like
those are the ones in the pool.
It's like, right, you man take this.
Esau, your own country's a payment.
Yeah.
Better than that.
I was going to say, also because but the just shall live by his faith.
Yeah, the just that's gonna live by faith is talking about Israel. That's why you gotta read the Bible with context. The whole book of Habakkuk is about Israel going into captivity and being saved. So when it said the just shall live by faith, it's talking about the Israelites because they're the focus, the protagonist in the chapters. So it doesn't have to say, but the Israelites shall live by faith. When it says the just by live by faith, it's talking about the Israelites because that's who it's aiming at. Then when it goes into the second chapter, it's talking about the people who are oppressing the Israelites, and that's when it starts going into hold on. Right. So if you read the first chapter, it starts going into how the Most High is going to punish the Israelites. Yeah. Then the second chapter is like, oh, but the just shall live by faith. Then it starts going against the ones he's using to punish him. And then the third chapter is the salvation of the Israelites at the end. All you got to do is read it in context, man, and you'll understand the scriptures.
And the Most High is separating the just from the unjust in Israel.
Yeah, like you said the other day in the live, Hosea, the first chapter and second chapter.
Yeah.
It's about Israel's salvation.
About Israel,
man.
like,
Israel
hey,
going
the guy
off.
tried to flip it.
Yeah.
What's he doing?
It's about Israel going off and then Israel receiving salvation. You have to read it in context. It's not about the Gentiles never included the other nations, man. The Bible, the New Testament especially, When it talks about Gentiles, it's not talking about the other nations, man. The book of Romans was written to Jacob that was living in Rome. You know, the church in Ephesus, all these different churches, man, in Asia Minor, Smyrna, and all these different churches. Those are Israelites that was in those that Greekish Gentile state of mind. And that's why you had the Apostle Paul that spoke Greek, spoke Hebrew and Latin, and he was a Pharisee. He was going to the Israelites that were scattered in those regions, man.
Jake,
Give them the gospel, man.
I was gonna say, Jake, completely forget that these things are happening right now. You got the U.S. military, and with the U.S. military, a whole load of Jakes all over the world, in the most random places you'll ever see.
And there's always been just like ancient Rome, it was a Roman occupation. Same thing now. There's American occupation everywhere, man. Edomite occupations. That's why they're going into other people's lands and enforcing their democracy and all that. It's just an occupation, man. You know, they're invading other people's lands. They've always been doing that. They've been doing that since the ancient world, and nothing's changed.
Yeah. It's first one's from Revelation chapter 18, verse 5. It says, for her sins have reached unto heaven, and God hath remembered her iniquities.
Yeah, that's America. We these Americans and they like talking about the Most High and God and God save America. Like the lack of self-awareness is amazing.
And accountability.
Yeah, like how can you really think? So you really think that America, the Most High, is dealing with America as a nation? Is that what you really believe?
Say yes as well.
Like if you look at the how do you even come to that conclusion that the Spirit of the Lord? Then you have to come to the conclusion that the Lord deals with like putting Negroes in slavery and slaughtering them. Because when did you apparently went there as being these spiritual people, Christians, but look what you've done since you got there. Look at the what you've done in the earth where most people hate America.
Your complete addiction to your own faith.
The only thing people like about America is there might be a chance of the opportunity to make money. But morally, everyone knows that you lot are in the mud. You just exporting porn and violence throughout the earth.
Yeah, that's why you get with China. They censor pretty much a lot of the movies coming out
Because they know what they are. They know that it's social engineering.
It's my
They know that it's social engineering, man.
It's what I always speak about Netflix, man. Right, created by the nephew of Edward Bernays. Right, when Edward Bernays,
What you talking about? Netflix was created by the nephew of it.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
The actual nephew of Edward
Yeah,
Bernays.
I'll confirm it just now, but I'm
Yes,
not
these
outside.
people are just juiced in, man.
Because I'll be watching like Korean stuff, and then there'll be stuff in there. I'm like, this is unacceptable in Korean culture. Like just knowing certain things about the culture, but it'll be the little, and it's like, whoa, right? But when you know the culture, you can see exactly what it is that they're doing. You know?
Yeah, Esau, man. Listen, the hypocrisy that they put these presidents in, and they start talking about the Bible and God. Like, no, like no. America is as far from God as you can get. It's a godless nation. It's filled with people that will basically kill their mother for insurance money. That's what America is. America is people that will stab they have the reason America works so well is that there is not a what's the word? There's not a lack of people willing to sell out for money. America works the way it works because they know that they can get people to do anything for money. People will do anything because that's really what America's about. Materialism. It's not about morals. It's not about morals. Morals is not the highest thing which is held in regard in the land of America. The thing which is held in the highest regard in America is money and clout.
Yep. It's a Ponzi scheme. Yep. It's a big Ponzi scheme.
That's all it is. Money and clout is what rules America in the minds of the American people.
Yeah.
It's not the substance, righteousness.
Right. Yeah, money. Yeah.
And that plays out to the American society and wherever it's got to. How the families are destroyed. Legions of homeless people, drug addicts, drug companies constantly being caught killing people and doing things like scandal after scandal after scandal after scandal. The healthcare system is a massive scandal. None of those things could actually exist if the spirit of America was in the spirit of the Most High. It's like it's in the spirit of Satan. That's why it's the way it is. So the hypocrisy.
Last priest on that point. It says Psalms 50 verse 16. But unto the wicked God saith, what that hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth?
These goofy Christians actually believe that they're the covenant people, and then when they went over to America, it was taught to them that America is basically the new promised land. So the Native American Indians are the Canaanites, and they're the promised people. This is how these devils justified themselves, man. But hold on, when the Israelites sent into the land to keep the law, you didn't keep the law. A Jake will have a wife, you go and do what you want with that wife. Isn't there laws of how to deal with your slaves and your servants? And what about compassion? You treated Jake worse than animals. Even in the scriptures, it says you're supposed to have care for your beasts. What's up with you, man? Remove not that your neighbor's landmark, all these different things, man.
So seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my words behind thee.
You don't really. They said, oh, you can't apply the Bible today. Well, now, if you want to say, well, we're in the time of grace, so we're not going to put people to death for certain things. But you can't say you can't apply the Bible as in what's right or wrong, because you can't. You can apply it anytime because people are still people and earth is still earth. There's no time when you can't apply. Well, we can't do this. Is modern day time, so we got to let two men adopt a child. No, you don't. You know what film I was watching last night? It was very interesting actually. But I got to the end of the film, I was like, it was kind of pointless, just showcasing Batman at the end of the day. I feel disgusted that I watched it all the way through. But there's a film called The Knock at the Door. And the film is basically about four people who are the four horsemen of the apocalypse. And they come to this family. And then in the family, they have to choose which one of the family members they sacrifice to save the world, right? But I like the bit with the judgments and that. It was kind of sick, yeah. Guess what? The family worked. Two mighty boys that adopted a daughter. Now, if America was a God-fearing place, first of all, Batman wouldn't be getting married. Batman would be illegal. They would at least be going to prison. At the very least, you might say, well, we don't want to bring the judgment of death down because we're in the time of grace. Okay, put them in prison then. Make it be a crime. What you could make it a crime. It's been a crime before. You don't even make it a crime. You make it legal and then protect them and then allow them to then a sexual deviant, because believe it or not, right? If you listen, I'm gonna tell you this. I don't want to get too graphic here, but you need to get graphic. What they try and do is get away from what gay people are. I love my brother. I can love my brother. What they're doing is not love. I love my mother. I don't give her back shots. Do you understand the difference? Like, what they try and do is try and do this thing of you can't help who you love. It's love. It's love. And they always try and not really show what it is you're actually doing, which is a form of sexual perversion. So, okay, so I love my mother. So that means I got what's going on? If I love my dog and my dog loves me, then I can start doing the. It's not wholesome. If someone said they love their dog, it's very wholesome. Why would you love your dog? Now, if you knew that meant that he was dead, you'd be like, yo, this is fucking foul, bro.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying?
But it's not even designed for that. Like,
Why do you want to have two dads and they're in there and like grunting, doing each other out the backside and blowing each other off? Man, get the man.
Sex ain't love, man.
That's not love.
Two separate things, man.
That's not love. You can love your brother. That's fine. You can love your father. Doesn't mean you're gonna suck a dick, man. What's wrong with you? That's disgusting. It's a form of sexual perversion. And if you are perverted to that level, what other perversions can you do? What other
Are you
boundaries?
susceptible to?
So then,
What you open to?
you give these kids to these lot, and it's happened loads of times. They end up getting molested and touched because they're perverts.
Okay, I was gonna say because both those examples you gave, I was thinking, but someone of that disposition would.
Yes.
Because there's no boundary. Once you cross that boundary, like for instance, like I'm looking up and
And another thing, any normal or any fruitful and productive society is so supposed to foster the example of that which is perfect. Life is based around example. Most of life is example. Most things you do in life, the reason you do it the way you do it will because someone set an example for you. If you go on a job and you've got a guy, like that's one of the things you'll notice, right? If you got a guy in a job and he does a terrible job and you get a new guy in, you don't put the new guy in with the guy that does it shit. Because the new guy don't know what he's doing, so he's gonna copy the shit guy.
Yeah.
You will say, okay, that guy's good. Go with him. Because he knows what the fuck he's doing. If you got a child, you don't want a child being raised in a dysfunctional household. Because that child by nature will automatically become dysfunctional because the example set for them is dysfunctional. This is why people from broken homes tend to grow up, get with other people from broken homes and have a broken home. Because they don't have really an example of how to be. They didn't grow up seeing the functionality of a family to then now grow up and copy it and do it. You're supposed to copy. If your mother is a certain way, the daughter is supposed to end up copying, almost being a carbon copy of the mother. And then same thing with the son. And then they go meet someone else and it's like, what's it called? And a model is being copied and photocopied. You don't photocopy shit. If you photocopy a bad copy, you're going to keep getting bad copies. So why would you put a child with two dads, which is absolutely dysfunctional? So how do they grow up now and be functional in a normal relationship? If it's a girl, how could she have a normal relationship with a man? She's never seen it firsthand. She's seen two men in a relationship. It's perversion. You've already put that child at a disadvantage. So why are you letting them adopt?
Real quick, if I can just just to confirm, Mark Bernays Randolph is an American tech entrepreneur, advisor, and speaker. He's the co-founder and first CEO of Netflix. And then jumping down to early life and education, Randolph was born in Chappaqua, New York, the eldest child of Stephen Bernays Randolph, an Austrian-born nuclear engineer. Blah, blah, blah. One of Randolph's paternal great-granduncles was psychoanalyst pioneer Sigmund Freud. Another paternal granduncle of Randolph was Edward Bernays.
Yeah, so he's deep into the psychological operation stuff, which is what Netflix is, right? Because it's media. All media is a form of psychological operation, the way that what they produce and what they put out there for the people to consume. But anyway, carry on now.
Yeah, the point you say about the father delivery.
Yeah, you need a good. The best thing you could provide your children is a good example. That's what children need. Children need to copy something. And that's why you see if the mother is a whore, usually the kids are going to copy that. If the family is dysfunctional, it's very highly unlikely that the children will grow up to be anything other than dysfunctional. Because they just don't know no different. You get with a woman that she ain't ever had no dad and her whole family situation has been fucked up. It's very unlikely you're going to get her to be functional. Because she don't know no fucking. And the same thing with a guy. A guy that ain't had that functionality, he's going to be fucked up.
Yeah, you had a quick example with Mark Duggan. You know, you had the whole riot situation.
Yep.
Him getting shot, his son.
It's the same thing.
Same
thing, man.
Look at that. This is Ecclesiasticus 13:3. So he that teacheth his son grieveth the enemy, and before his friends he shall rejoice of him. Though his father die, yet he is as though he were not dead.
That's right.
For he has left one behind him that is like himself.
That's right. You're supposed to set a good example for your children, to your sons, and they become a carbon copy of you, and so on and so forth. And you're basically copying yourself. You're copying a culture and a way of being. And you want to copy a culture that's perfect. You don't want to copy imperfection. You want to copy perfection. So any productive society, which is what we're going to be, we're going to be a society that's going to be perfect and copy that perfection down.
And that type of consistency helps you build.
Yeah.
You know, because there's so much that always goes on. Like, you might, like, you got hard working dad, but for some reason you end up degenerate. You can't build off that. You can't build up degeneracy.
You can't. Which is
so
why
your powers work null and void now. You don't need shit no more.
Well, which is why people were judgmental. You know, now before. Nowadays, oh, don't be judgmental.
Yeah,
No.
yeah, yeah.
In a society, you have to be judgmental because there has to be consequences for divergent behavior.
Yeah.
So that's why your actions could actually hamper your family's reproductive abilities.
Yeah, yeah.
Because the straight way is like, okay, man's come with his daughter, right? But then you hear say like, yo, 2 of the other daughters already committed adultery with next man. No, we ain't dealing with that family. We ain't dealing with that family. We're not trying to, whatever's going on over there, we can't bring that over here. Same thing with a son.
Yeah.
Same thing with a son. Like I don't want to be joined in and give my daughter over to some family and there's bare madness going on over there. Let them man not reproduce.
Exactly.
We don't need to reproduce that.
Yeah. High shame society.
High shame society. You shame and shun
Yeah.
families that don't have the qualities which are desired within society. But now it's like, oh, don't be judgmental.
Accept everything. Yeah. But she's checking. But who said Eric wants not to bring it back to Korea, but in Korea, which they go too far with it. There are certain things you do not misconform in them countries. Like you have to be following the rules. You have to be educated. You will be shamed out of society. And on what you're saying, you will get to a point where a couple are about to get married, and if the parents disagree, that marriage ain't happening.
Yeah.
Right. That's the end of that relationship. That's why they go off with it, because it's like, well, they've been off.
But that's the mechanism that's supposed to be there to keep things straightened out. You know, to keep things under control so that the right things are going forward. But we live in a society where they don't want you to shame or judge anyone for anything. Everything's up for grabs and everything's all good and it doesn't matter. So man are just going out here and just making decisions and then just procreating, and it's all out of focus and all messed up. But that's Esau's done that. Slut shaming, you can't slut shame. You know what I mean? Like you got to breed prostitutes. Prostitutes are not supposed to be replicated. We can't replicate this. Yeah. What are you doing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, dude's a criminal. He ain't supposed to be replicating that. Like let him be a criminal by himself and die with that. Like, you don't want to produce seed for that dude. Like, bad seed. You want him reproducing. That's what's happening in the ghetto. Bad seed is reproducing. Bad families, and then multiply. Right? You don't multiply.
Wickedness is multiply.
The whole family of criminals, like all the extended cousins, everyone. Like, because man keep letting a man breed.
Yeah, in the ghetto, they used to see a joking one. If you like it, she's a baby one. Like without actual, it's more likely that she's a baby one than she's actually in an actual relationship.
Yeah, because that baby mom situation is replicating itself. Yeah, because baby moms are producing baby moms, and these girls are growing up and they're becoming baby because it's replicating. At some point, you got to cut it off. Like, no, we're gonna deal with the women that ain't from that situation and let them replicate because they know what they're doing. But you know.
I was reading from Revelation. Do you want to go back there?
Yeah.
Change the topic.
Actually. Could go over to IUIC and the Mark of the Beast before we get out.
Because I was in Revelation 18.
Can I get this just on the money real quick? Ezekiel 16:44. Behold, everyone that uses proverbs shall use this proverb against thee, saying, as is the mother, so is her daughter.
Yeah, and that's what you're seeing happening is that the negative elements are being allowed to proliferate and replicate. And Esau's encouraging. He's encouraging that, man. But any proper people will not allow these people to replicate. They will shun them. The society's like that. You act a certain way, you can't get married. I've known dudes from other cultures that said, I'm struggling to find a wife because he might have done something. And as soon as he's trying to get a wife, man find out about it. It's like, you ain't married. The man's struggling but that's how it's supposed to be. That makes sure that you know, listen, bro, if you want to grow up and get a wife, you need to stay on the straight and narrow and keep it. But if Jake, man, you could go jail, do all sorts here, still get a bag of gal. Most of the men that has got like the 8 baby mamas are them niggas that's in and out of jail. They're replicating more than the normal dons. That just doing normal shit.
What's good?
And now he's got 8 families of weirdo kids. That's just doing madness. Like, but the man's not got his shit together. He's got 1 wife and just like 2 kids. The demon's got like 89 kids that he can't look after.
It's the time of you.
Oh, it's true. Remember you had them popular culture with the marketing again. There used to be a rapper called Shorty Low, and he had a TV show called All My Baby Mamas. And literally, like, the info paid money, and then he would display these women doing madness in the house, fighting over.
And I guarantee all them kids are burnouts. Because
It's correct slot now. They're struggling.
But this is what's happening. The replication of degenerates.
He said, Deuteronomy 24, verse 7.
You're right, brother.
If a man be found stealing any of his brethren of the children of Israel and maketh merchandise of him or selleth him, then that thief shall die, and thou shalt put away evil away from among you. It keeping things in check, man.
Yeah.
You have to address wickedness, man, and nip it in the bud.
Divergent and messed up behavior. That's why we had public beatings. That's why we had the law. And that's why you will be judgmental.
Yeah.
You judge, man. Like you will judge a family. And that's why what you did affected your whole family.
Yeah.
You don't want to be a thief because that label, man, be thinking like maybe, well, if this son is a thief, I don't know about these other dogs.
It sticks to your entire family.
Your name, the name of your house.
Yeah. Well, which is interesting because I think about it in certain cultures. For instance, we used to do that of this house, of that house. So you weren't just you.
Yeah.
Like when nowadays when you're out in the world, you're
an individual. Yeah. And that's messed everything up. So there's no shame. People are just out here doing whatever they want to do. You know, you're not allowed to be judgmental. Man could be batshit crazy and all sorts, man, and it's okay, it's all love. Nah, it's bullshit, man. But Esau's created that. How do we know? Because when you're not around Esau, that exists.
Yeah.
You go China, you go these places, these things exist. They don't exist for Jake among Esau because Esau got rid of all that.
You know what the divorce rate is in Korea?
What? Listen. In my grandmother's generation, a woman can't cook. Yeah. She's finished in life.
Done now.
Finished. And the ones who will be hardest on her is the women. They'll be like, "Is a whatless girl that like, when you bring this whatless girl here for? She'll be watching it like she can't even clean up that. Listen, there's no one more judgmental than my grandmother and them. They're hella judgmental. Ridiculously judgmental. It's crazy because they come from that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, you better be on your P's and Q's. Like, they're not accepting that.
Quality, man.
But now everything gets soft up, and that's because Esau and Esau's world, man. Let's get the MOTB real quick. I wanted to quickly. I know, brother, you got to go, but I want to get IUIC. They talk about the going back to IUIC and these agents. They talk about this embargo doctrine, because at first they were saying, "Oh, it's not the MOTB, it's sin." But it never made no sense. And then they had to say, "Oh, well, it's an embargo. The mark of the beast is an embargo." Now we know that an embargo is when one nation cuts off trade relations with another nation, so they can't trade. But the mark of the beast isn't something which is placed upon a nation. It's placed upon an individual. So then they started breaking it down. Well, small nations and big nations. But it never said that. But IUIC and ICPK teach that. How? How did they both come to such a conclusion? Because they're gatekeepers, man. Someone's given them that breakdown and said, just run with that. Like, and your dumb followers will believe it because they don't know what an embargo is anyway. So they'll just, they didn't watch the algorithm. So they don't know. They don't understand geopolitics.
It's a point like Nate will teach anything and these zombies will just believe it.
They just,
Even the other day.
Yeah, go on.
I watched the live the other day and he said the Northern Kingdom went into captivity in Syria, but then the Northern Kingdom and the Southern Kingdom went into captivity in Babylon. I was like, bro, no, that don't make no sense.
No.
How did the Northern Kingdom go into slavery?
The Northern Kingdom went into slavery.
Babylon.
Now there was a little tiny remnants of members of the Northern Kingdom that was with Judah, but you can't say it was the Northern Kingdom because it's not significant. It was the Southern Kingdom.
The Judeans, bro. So like,
yeah,
he just he just says things and no one questions it.
No.
They don't study.
The bulk of the Northern Kingdom had already gone. It was Southern Kingdom. If you got one or two or something up, Issachar is still hanging around.
Which you're gonna have.
You're gonna have because I think my man that was outside the temple, it said he was Ephraim or something like that, right?
Yeah, you had sprinkles.
Yeah, but that don't mean that's the
Northern Kingdom. What he said that, I was just like, what the fuck?
The Southern and the Northern Kingdom were together in Babylon in America. They weren't together in
ancient Babylon.
The scriptures never mention the Northern Kingdom in Babylon.
When he said that, I was just like,
It's madness in the time of division, is it?
There was a split.
Yeah, there was a split. But some of the Northern Kingdom were chased from the
Syria.
Yeah, in the time when we were in the land.
Yeah.
Some of them came down to south. like Ashalites.
Yeah, but you were gonna get little sojourners here and there, but that don't mean that the Northern Kingdom.
The whole
No,
kingdom.
Northern
Kingdom,
Kingdom don't
Kingdom,
go into it. No.
The whole kingdom. The whole.
No. That's like saying the whole of India is in London because there's a no, it's not like let's
They
not
might
do that.
believe it though.
Yeah, now they do it.
But Nate, well, Nate is the one that says that RFID technology is only for
Chip
where's
code.
my dog. Yeah, but guess what? I could pay with my phone, my watch.
Yeah.
I could pay with my phone, near field.
Rings, they got rings.
Rings.
out.
But he said contact. He said RFID. What is it? It's for a radio frequency identification location. Where's my dog? And then he said, a woman called up and said, well, my dog's got a RFID. Maybe your dog can buy you some land.
Making mockery.
And even when he made that, we were already using contactless bank cards over here in the UK. They didn't have it in America
Yeah,
yet.
but we had it here.
We were
Logic,
watching it.
technologic,
What's this guy talking about, man? And then all you have to do is go on Wikipedia.
Yeah.
Uses, payments.
Yeah.
That's when I knew he sold out.
Yeah.
Because Nate is a detective, and let me tell you something. We know, even though we know it's a bit shady to become a detective. One thing that separates a detective from a normal cop on the beat, they do put them through the exams. To being a detective, it means you have the ability to critically think and analyze and investigate.
Yeah.
That is your job. The normal police officer, they don't. If a murder happens, the normal police officer doesn't put the clues together and run the investigation. They test you and say, how good are you at putting clues together and researching? To be, you got to research.
Yeah.
So you mean to tell me
Diligent.
that you didn't just type RFID into Google, went to the Wikipedia and looked up uses? No.
You were just
No. Nate is not an idiot. And this is the thing. Nate is not an idiot. You can't become a detective. Well, you can see Nate's not a complete idiot.
No, he's not. Very
So
deceptive.
you can't Google RFID. No, you have. So then what does that tell me? You're being intellectually dishonest. You're purposefully omitting information, misleading your. Where's my dog? Bro, it's not just for location. And he never corrected that. He never came back and said, oh, you know what? Well, I was wrong on that. Because your handlers don't want you to correct that. Because then you're going to have to start answering questions. Like, well, if the RFID can be used for payments. Then he started talking about CBDCs all of a sudden.
But they might bring in a chip, but it's not the mark of the beast. That's what he's going with.
Nah,
He's doubling down,
exactly.
changing his story, doubling down. That's
Same
not
thing that
mark of the beast.
ISUPK did. That's the same thing they're saying. Go on, I'll finish that off. And then
My man on the screen.
Revelation 13 and 17. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast.
you're not going to be able to buy or sell, say, now this system's kind of funny. The other night, I'll show you how the system locks you in. There's certain things, right? For instance, yeah, that you might use an app, right? You know, there's certain things on them banking apps you can't do unless you use biometrics. I didn't know that. I found that out the other night because my woman don't use the biometrics. I do. I'll just be honest. I use it. It's fucking hella convenient. Yeah. So I use my fingerprint on everything on all my apps. So I have no problems. Anything I want to do on a banking app, oh yeah, fingerprint, boom, 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 done, 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 done. So I was trying to do the same thing on hers, and I was trying to, get up a card so I could see the card. When you click on manage card to see the card details, guess what it comes up with? Enable biometrics.
Yeah.
So you're cut off from being
Yeah.
able to utilize a
Full
particular
potential.
thing unless
Without
you get
the
the biometrics. So Esau has a way of funneling you into using certain
Yeah.
things. And so what's eventually going to happen is you see them contactless everywhere.
Yeah.
Contactless on the buses. You can't use cash no more
Yeah.
on the London buses.
No.
If you don't have a form of contactless payment, then you're gonna have to do like beg the driver. Like that man. I'm just going. I'm just going one stop. Yeah. And then you get them jobs worth. No, get off. If you get on the bus in London, you must needs use a contactless card. Now, it don't matter what type of card it is. Could be MasterCard, could be Visa, could be the Oyster card, but you need to use a contactless card to travel, which means if you're going to use the bus, because now they're going to start taking out the ticket machines from producing tickets. And guess what they've done? If you go to buy a ticket from the machine, you can't buy a single bus journey ticket in London.
Right.
You can't. Now you can buy a bus pass, a travel card. That's it.
Oh, it's
So
more
what if you just
expensive
want to
things.
go down?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah,
What if you just want to go down the road? Are you going to spend £5 because you got the hopper now, where you can spend the 150 or one whatever it is, and you can use the bus
yeah,
unlimited for an hour? Well, you can't buy a ticket for that.
Yeah.
So people just don't buy the tickets.
Yeah.
They use the contactless. All right.
Yeah.
Buying and selling. You're not going to be able to buy or sell unless you got the mark. And another part of it is permission. What if you need to have permission to operate? It's not difficult to understand. Permission-based system. Because the CBD system and the system that we're going into is not only if you have the money to buy, are you allowed to buy? Just like when you had the seating and they were saying you can only buy this amount of bottles of water or this amount when you had the thing. That was a test.
Yeah.
So you can't buy it. So are you allowed to rent a car? Are you allowed to use a car? Yeah, you might have the money, but
a social credit system.
exactly. And this is where the ID and your carbon footprint and all these things come into it, because what they really want is a permission-based monetary system where they can not only control how much money you have, but also what you're able to buy and where. For instance, they got a thing called the 15-minute cities. They also got location, so they can make it where you can't buy and sell outside of a 2-mile radius of your location of where you're registered resident.
And the tokenization, it controls, time spans on things or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So you can do all that stuff. Maybe you've been banned from the internet. So when you go to use a device to access the internet, your ID comes up. No, you are not allowed to use this app, or you're not allowed to do this because your digital ID is going to be needed to use Facebook, to use this. And guess what? You might say, well, but you just use your phone. Well, what do all phones have? Biometrics and RFID. So all they're going to make it is all these phones, what they're going to end up being, because the super app is going to be the thing. Remember, Elon Musk, the savior, the techno messiah, right? Wants to turn Twitter into a super app that's going to be incorporating payments at the end of the year. Just like Alipay. Right? You're going to have a digital ID, because that's why every service using Twitter now, you need to get a membership now. Your phone is going to be your access to almost everything. But you're going to have a chip to access your phone. So what it is, it's like, what they'll do is you will have your biometrics, but not just your biometrics, you have to have your chip. So your chip can touch your phone, register the RFID and the biometrics, can verify you. And that's called two-factor verification, which they've started to get everybody used to. Oh, it's better if you have two-factor. So you put your PIN in, and we'll send you a text.
And even in that as well, they'll at intervals make the current system look inconvenient and have like it's got a lot of faults, like the Microsoft thing, and then like applications like that. They'll just pop something up on purpose to make people think, no, we need to move to something more progressive.
Because to back you, and I was thinking about it this morning actually, because you get in technology you got like built-in obsolescence, but then what ESO was doing is built-in inconvenience what we're going into, right? Because even when you think about the reason why they're gonna need all like extra factors of authentication, because I was thinking about it. Your phone gets robbed, unlocked, you're fucked. You are actually fucked. If your phone gets robbed, unlocked, you are completely and utterly fucked, because everything is via your email and your phone now, right? So then you want to log into your phone or whatever, or you want to reset your banking password. What are they gonna do? They can send you a text and they send you an email. But if they force you down the biometric route, then it's okay. It doesn't matter if my phone
and the chip in your hand.
It won't matter. And that's why they allow. Because I was thinking about it. If British Gas can force me to use my biometrics to log in, why can't Gmail?
So, well, I just want to make a statement. Again, something I found out. Your phone is actually an RFID reader.
Oh, I saw it.
It's a reader, because I found this out because I had to test. For a woman, I had to test out to see if contactless was working. And I realized that when you go on Amazon, right, and you use the app and you go to payment options, one of the options on the app is tap to pay. So you can actually tap
I've seen it,
contactless on your phone.
Even
I was gonna say real quick as well, with certain apps, yeah, if you set like you got a bank account, you can actually to register your account on the phone, tap the card on the back of the phone, and take your account details directly onto
So
the
then it's already set up that
It's-
let's say you're the only one that can use your phone because
Yeah.
your hand is holding your phone.
Yeah.
It's got that
100%.
connection. So you're signing in with the chip in your hand, and then two-factor, it will have the
Yeah.
biometrics as well to
On
make
your
sure the
face.
face is the right face. Job done.
Because if you're in the UK and just like say you want to open a government related account, so a tax account, right? What one of the process that works is you take your phone, you put your passport down, put your phone in your passport, it reads your the RFID on your passport, and then it basically says show us your face and it will
Yeah, I
scan.
did. I've done that. I've done that. Yeah.
So I was like, yo, beast tech is it. I was like, this
Yeah,
is
I've
the
done that. I've done that. So then
And-
all you need to do is replace the passport with the chip in the hand, and it's the same
It's the
process.
same thing. And that's what
Yeah.
starting with the apostle and down, the elders and everything. That's what we're saying. The system, if you're looking at it, is here already.
Yeah.
It's here. It's here. And that's why once again, when you look at the CBDCs, I think they say something like countries representing 90% of the world's population are working on CBDCs. 80% of the world's passports are biometric enabled. Because I always laugh when I see Zimbabwe, because Zimbabwe is like a third world ass country, but they've got
They're endorsing it as well.
And remember this one thing
Yeah.
that some of these countries are trying to build their own,
Yeah.
but they don't have to. They could. A lot of them are researching how it would work and all that. But you remember, they talk about the public-private partnership. There's already private companies who've already made a system that they could just roll out in each country. Like, boom, boom. Like how the man do networking, and they could just set up that network in everything. You know?
Like you said, earlier, all they need is a push in the right direction.
Yeah.
And that's what it is. Just need a push in
The
the right
crisis,
direction.
but it goes back to the financial system. Everything being keyed back in. That's why it talks about buying and selling. Buying and selling. So the CBDC was a key component of this new system that's coming in, and it's pretty much ready.
Yeah.
The CBDC, the technology for the CBDC and the systems, the private, you got companies like Ripple and that have already developed a system that each country can just roll out. The central bank can just roll out. Look here, it's built already. Just plug in. Boom. Done.
The proof is not every country had to come out with their own Visa or MasterCard.
There you go. They already have it there. They just roll it out.
They can just put their company on top.
Well,
But
Microsoft is an example. They don't have to come up with their own. Microsoft just rolls it out. You call Microsoft, they just give you the thing. Set it up. Put your name on it. Here's your password. Here's your keys to it. Boom.
There's a name for that. It's called white labeling. Where basically,
like the other company.
yeah. So I'm the one that has created it, and then I'll give it to you to just be like, okay, I'm going to put my company on it.
Yeah.
Same like, for instance, you may see like Apple credit cards. Credit card?
Yeah.
Is it the white label product that Apple
it can
is
be
able
rolled
to
out,
store?
and they just put a fake. You know, like when in you see them products and it's got a brand on it, but then there's another product, same bottle with their brand on it. It's all the bottles are made in the same factory, and I just slap the brand on it, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. Like, so this thing is gonna happen. As we're reading, you ain't gonna be able to buy or sell because they're gonna set up a crisis, and all the resources and everything is gonna be squeezed. So if you want to get food, the food is not going to be available everywhere. It's going to be available from certain places, but those places it is available from are going to have this new system. And so you to go there and get it, you're going to have you know what.
It's just like the famine in Egypt, man. Everyone had to come to Egypt to get the seed, get the bread. They have to come directly to Joseph to get it. You know, and he had to give permission to receive, and there's something in return you need to do for that. And you have to take that mark.
And they ain't gonna take no cash because cash is gonna be the old system. It's not gonna be no pounds no more. It's gonna be the British CBDC, and it's gonna allow them to use that to control the resources themselves, because they can see how the resources, all the information, and the AI can see everything that's happening. Because when you got cash involved, it's too much, and all these legacy systems. No, one system that's interoperable, that you can track and trace everything. The people, what they're doing, what they're buying, what they're selling, what they're eating, the devices that they're using, what devices they're logged on. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Because even when you log into like certain apps like your mobile banking and that and it's a different device, you get that automatic unrecognized device is logged into this, verify that two-factor authentication. There you go.
So yeah, man, we just wanted to talk about these guys, IUIC and ICPK. Them man are gatekeepers. They're there so that okay, you find out you're an Israelite, but we want to keep you on this dumbed down level. But there's no reason for them to be teaching what they're teaching. This whole embargo thing it's intellectually dishonest. It doesn't make any sense.
And they both come from West. That was never
That was never taught in one. So that's a 501c3 cop out that they're teaching to the people, man. But we're gonna teach you the right thing.
They don't teach the name either. The IUIC especially.
Yeah, they
Just
try
what
to
teach
go down. Yeah.
to teach them.
Another gatekeeper.
So like, I was just gonna say as well, because it's one thing for them to say it's something else, but at the very least say don't take it. Like for instance, with the jab, they're supposed to say we don't believe it's that, but don't take it.
They even said that about IP Sabat.
Yeah.
Sabat, because he's wish-washy as well with the RFID. But he said at least don't take it, even if it is or isn't. Don't take it.
Yeah. But Johanna said take it. When the brother called in that time, and he said, yeah, you gotta eat.
You want to eat, don't you? Niggas.
Yeah, But yeah, like that's what we're telling you, man. GMS, we're giving it to you real. We got brothers do videos all the time breaking down the technology and how it's worked, the carbon footprint, how all the things, the agendas that they're pushing technologically, everything is leading towards that the MOTV. We call it the mark of the beast system. It's all part of it. Carbon, even down to the other day, right? I was watching a thing and the guy was breaking it down. This idea that tourism is bad for the places that, the tourist traps, and it's putting the house prices up where, and then people were protesting in Barcelona for tourists. That's all to give you the idea that flying and traveling places is bad. So, and it's carbon footprint. You're burning all this fuel. So we need to put that on the system, like to keep that down. And then, well, 1 second, subsequently, what are they bringing in now? The VR. So now you ain't gonna go on holiday. You're gonna have a little VR day.
Demolition.
And it saves carbon footprint.
I remember, I can't remember where it was from exactly, man, but they had like an outline basically, like what they want to get rid of, because obviously they say cars is bad and no need for that kind of shit. But like flying, it was also on the list of getting rid of planes and stuff like that. Only private elites, only private planes are going to be allowed to fly. The commercial planes, not so much. Commercial shipping,
They don't want
not so much. Right? Because they really want to get rid of that by whatever year they said they want to get rid of it. Because it's not meant to go nowhere.
They've done that already in France. So basically in France, if you can get from A to B in under 2 hours by train, you're not allowed to have a plane there unless it's a private jet.
Because they get to roll as free as they want.
And that's why we tell you that the MOTV system is really hardcore slavery. And so then you got to think to yourself, when the Democrats are in power, when the Republicans are in power, all these technologies and these narratives continue. So ultimately, they're all part of the agenda to do what to you? To put you in a hardcore slavery, and you're voting for them. You're emotionally ready to fight with another guy because she likes Kamala Harris and no, but I like Trump, and you're fighting, and it's like, but both these people, regardless, are in the know and want to put you in slavery, but you're emotionally fighting for one or the other. Make it make sense. It's like choosing between MasterCard and Visa. Like, they're on the same. They don't matter. But that's how our people are messed up in the mind, and they don't listen to the prophets, so they're basically emotionally invested in their own oppression.
Real quick, if I may. Revelation 13:11, and I beheld another beast coming out of the earth, and he had 2 horns like a lamb, spake as a dragon.
That's that left-right paradigm, man, which is one of the biggest witchcrafts that's ever been committed on a population of people in the history of mankind. This psyop is so crazy. Like, these people are insane. It's literally like all these people that are invested in this thing, they're actually insane.
So if you ever get sick of one, don't worry, you can vote for another, but they know that you're just voting for the same thing, but it seems like something's happening.
Trump's just up there. I'm gonna when I do this, they're gonna say I'm a great man. He's such a great. I'm like listening to this guy talk, and I'm like, this guy's just blowing his own horn up there. And he's like, what's wrong with these people? These lot are insane.
How gone the people are.
They're just insane, man. These characters. Meanwhile, when he was in Trump, what did he actually do to stop the MOTV system from going forward? Now he's saying he's against CBDCs because he
What did
has
he
to.
do?
But what is he gonna do?
Was it one digital conference the other day? Talking
On
about-
Bitcoin, yeah, he was promoting Bitcoin and crypto,
He was there.
which is part of the agenda. So it is.
He was there, bro. Like,
Bro,
talking about Bitcoin
These
and all that.
people are
So
insane.
bullshit, man.
They're crazy.
And supposedly there's supposed to be a rollout in the UK in September or something.
Of
For
what?
digital IDs.
They're working on it.
But you can't make this shit up.
Yeah.
I just got one quick precept for you.
Yeah.
You said there's all but one mind, one world order, basically. Revelation 17 and 12 is in the 10 horns, which represents the European nations. That source are 10 kings, which have received no kingdom as yet, but received power as kings 1 hour with the beast. And it says, these have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast.
Yeah, so when you go into certain agendas, they're all in complete agreement. They work together. All their different companies from Europe and from America, they're all working together to bring this MOTB system to pass. And you can see it, man. And we've been teaching you about it, right? And that's why they're getting spooky, because they know that, listen, every month that goes by, our position only gets stronger. You know, it's like, yeah, before it was like faith. Now it ain't even faith, bro. I mean, it's faith, but like, yo, like, come on, like,
manifesting.
like, I'm telling you, when the apostles first taught me that, all this information went out there. There weren't no CBDCs, there weren't none of that.
Nothing. No
Yeah.
blockchain.
They weren't even like open banking. Like they got open banking now where you can be with Barclays and have a NatWest account and you can do
All in the
both-
same
all
thing,
yeah,
interoperable.
Yeah.
I noticed
Yeah,
that.
online banking only started like 09 and all that. Because
Yeah.
I remember I was still at uni and online banking was a thing, like
Yeah.
09, 010. That was when it started doing it.
So
That was like the beginning of YouTube, 07, all that.
This is why they have their annual meetings. Every year they meet up, they build the birds, then all these G summits, they're all talking about the same things.
Yep.
They all have this, they're all moving towards the same goal. That's why Europe, all of you is doing the same thing.
Yeah.
America's doing the same thing over the other side of the pond. It's all the same.
They're all working together. Elon Musk, Neuralink, Microsoft, all these big tech companies, they're competitors. No, they're all working together to push the same agenda, man. And that includes the techno savior, the techno Jesus, Elon Musk, man.
Yeah, Elon Musk. Prophecies.
You know what I mean? Like Mr. Neuralink. All right. So anything else? And we'll close up. All right. So with that, we say, Call
Allah, Yahweh, Shem Yahushai, Shem Kakadash.
double honors to the apostles, the elders, a great millstone. Honor to you, brothers on the highways and the byways, and of course, shalom to you, brothers and sisters, listening, learning, and supporting the ministry.